Hello, gamers, and welcome to episode 15. And I'm joined by the wonderful Council Cuddler Ryan, a hatchet throwing beast in Dominus Ash, and this bearded look for any excuse to be better little bitch King Crazy. And to start things off, we're going to refer back to the last episode. Since I was on break and the misinformation Kev brought up to make himself look better about the one chip challenge we both did last week, what do you have to say for yourself, Kev?
Fuck you guys.
For you guys, I'm going home.
Well,
I'm sorry, only what was it? Only scorpion chili, which was what? Scorpion pepper, sorry, which was 1.2 to 1.4. You missed out the Carolina Reaper there, mate.
well, that's what I had, and it was 2.2. So why was yours significantly weaker?
So my whole chip was 1.2 to 1.4 of the scorpion pepper, and then the Carolina Reaper went anywhere from 1.7 to 2.
Well, somewhere, some description's fucking lying. But still, mine was still hotter than yours, just saying. So unless you do that, you're a pussy. So.
You say so. And the other part of when I grabbed for the milk straight away, no, it wasn't because it was too hot. Yes, it did taste like absolute ballsack, but it completely dried my mouth out in seconds to the point where I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to swallow this. And then I was like, oh no, if this gets stuck in my throat, this is going to be painful. So I was like, oh, I just grabbed the milk straight away. No, it's because it was too bloody dry.
For starters, you should. No, I'm not going to make that joke, but you should have had water.
Spitters are quitters. Is that where you were going with that?
Kind of, yeah. Right,
And also, I did eat the whole chip. Yeah, I heard you. You did.
Yeah, I did catch that.
All
I think a little bit
1.7
drunk.
million Scoville, that's fine. All 1.7 millivet.
The only thing was, when I did it, I broke it up into pieces because I just didn't have the mouth for it. It was such a fucking big chip.
Could you not handle the girth of the chip?
No, I couldn't. No.
Me, I had it all in one.
So I just made it into a little sandwich of death.
Oh, it was honestly though, it like regardless of the heat difference or whatever, the taste of it was disgusting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I think we can both agree on it, and I don't know why, but I was stupid enough to suck the bloody crap off my fingers as well, and that was another thing that I regret doing. But what the fuck was that laughing?
Ryan's having a moment.
I've had a long day, okay.
That was the strangest.
Let's just get back to how you were a bitch for calling Lynx out for his chip, all right?
Yeah,
What's the focus on me? Let's.
With that, straight away, you just called me out for it, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
He's still a bitch, though.
You're still a bitch.
Eat my chip, bitch.
At least I didn't puke.
My stomach check. My brother in Christ, I have stomach issues.
So do I, as we've already found out from me and you talking.
Mine was fucking 300,000 Scovilles hotter than yours.
Fucking.
All right.
No,
Calm down.
No, to be fair,
Still didn't puke.
Still didn't grab the milk.
When you saying something about spitters being quitters, ain't puking the same?
Still didn't grab the milk, Kev. I was the smarter one to actually have milk instead of washing it down with Sneak, which contains water. As you know, makes it a lot hotter.
Yeah, but that's where the difference between
who's the real idiot? You were the one suffering, and true, I did suffer. Yeah, I did.
From sweaty ballsack mouth.
Well, I would have preferred more sweat, to be honest. It was that dry.
just wring out the ball sack.
Less ball sack, more sweat, please.
It's like Gandhi's nutsack.
Don't lick that. Don't lick the sweat of my ball sack. Just take the sweat, please.
I definitely would have preferred more sweat and less ball sack.
Oh, fuck me.
I wasn't expecting it to be that dry. It just, my mouth went from a nice waterfall to freaking desert in like seconds. I was like, oh no. And then I didn't want to choke on it because that would have been pain.
Oh, yeah, your little
Grow the
snigger there. I held it in until he sniggered.
Same. But yeah, I didn't find it my one that dry. Maybe, I don't know, maybe because I drank quite a lot before I got to that moment in the stream. And I was very, very well hydrated. I'm not sure. But it was
Are you just trying to promote Sneak again?
no, but if they want to reach out, you know, like it doesn't.
I was really well hydrated from drinking Sneak before taking the chip.
As well, Kev. Do you know what really annoyed me watching the clip of you eating it and drinking the Sneak? You didn't shake your bottle, and I could see all the powder at the bottom.
The residue at the bottom.
And oh my god, it annoyed the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I usually do, but considering I just ate that chip and I was in a bit like.
Did you see the look on his face? He didn't know where the fuck he was.
I very really do.
He was like, Queen, take me to the bathroom quick.
But yeah, I think the biggest mistake that I did with that is the fact that I had my hoodie on. Like, because the heat just...
Let's be honest, Kev, there was multiple mistakes you've made.
Look, it wouldn't be a King Crazy stream if I didn't make a mistake.
Wearing the hoodie, licking your fingers, drinking the Sneak and not going for milk.
I didn't think it'd be that hot. I've handled lots of hot food very, very well.
Bruh.
All of that.
A challenge for a reason.
By your count, it was over 2 million Scoville units.
But I don't find jalapenos hot at all. Granted, that's 5,000.
It's fucking jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
You can't spell. You can't speak either. Chill out. But yeah, I didn't think. I just don't know. I didn't think. That's me, isn't it? That's what it is.
That is literally you.
So for those of you who didn't know, he's put a gif of Toad shaking, saying, "Help me, please."
Mummy and Daddy are fighting again.
They are.
Mummy, Daddy, and Stepdaddy. Yeah, I usually do shake my Sneak or swirl it around and stuff, so I do apologize for that.
Apology accepted. Don't do it again.
What are you more offended by? Him calling you out or the not shaking of the Sneak?
Probably the Sneak.
No, they're calling me out because it was his first port of call.
So you've accepted his apology for not shaking the Sneak, but you've just walked by the whole calling you out.
Because I've not apologized for that, and I'm never going to.
Lynx's chip wasn't as hot as this.
It's the English chips, bro. Like the English chips aren't as hot as the Welsh ones. But
funny that because that one was from America. Because Pyro brought it over for me when he came to visit from America. Yeah,
dude, I've checked out to see how much yours was, and it was like 30 quid just to buy it, and then I had to pay for shipping and then pay for import taxes.
The import
like, what
taxes,
the hell?
Yeah.
Crazy money.
Pyro brought it over for me. He brought it himself, so I didn't have to pay anything for that.
Didn't you get the newer one? Because I can't recall your tongue going blue.
So that's a completely different one.
Right, okay.
The blue one is different. I don't know what one that one is in terms of like Scoville units and that jazz, but
that's the one that I looked at.
They've got a variation of them, to be fair.
Yeah. You know when I was getting the numbers, that's the one that I looked at, and it said it was the 1.2 or whatever it was. Or
God, so you didn't even look at the right chip.
Well, it was the most up-to-date one, so because that's the 2022 version.
Spreading misinformation to our listeners, Kev.
It's not misinformation if you believe it to be true.
Whatever helps your ego.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain you're probably going to fact check this and call me out on this one, but the spread of misinformation is more due to the fact that you know it's misinformation and you spread it regardless.
No, there's a difference. You're still spreading misinformation. You're just not intentionally doing so.
It's that one fucking brain cell.
Like I don't know who I had this conversation with, but I said it's not the amount of brain cells, it's the quality.
It was
of them.
me.
It was you.
It was me. Can't be that quality. It was what,
Oh.
yesterday or the day before?
I've had a nap since then, gamer. Yes, absolute bloody carnage. The honestly, the biggest thing that shocked me wasn't, well, yeah, the heat was on there for a shock factor, but honestly, when I've seen people doing it, I've been like, just breathe through your nose, you fucking idiot. But then when it comes down to it, and the heat and everything from the chip, it's kind of like when you have the flu or you got a really bad cold, your nose just instantly blocks up, so you have no choice but to breathe through your
Yeah,
mouth.
always breathe through your mouth. Never breathe through your nose.
So like the heat didn't go through my nose or anything like that. It just closed up as if I had like really bad hay fever or, like I said, a cold or something. And it's just blocked. I couldn't breathe through it. So the more I breathe through my mouth, the more intense it got.
Yep.
And like I said, my stomach just instantly said nope and rejected it. It was like when I had my the piercing in my ear done. I can't remember which one it was called. But it's the one you get for migraines and stuff.
The tragus.
No,
No,
I've
yeah,
already had the
tragus?
tragus. The tragus is the little nipple thing that comes out of your ear on its own.
I thought that one was for like migraines and that 'cause it releases the pressure, doesn't it?
No, it's one sort of like on the inner, like, is there a conch? I don't know. 1 second.
All I've got out of this is you've got a
It's a
nipple in your
dice.
ear.
Dice, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a dice, yeah. The tragus is like that little thing that's stuck to your head. Like the little mini ear, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the dice that I had then. And I cleaned it for ages. I made sure that it was
Does that
clean.
actually work for migraine?
Yes, it did. It did work for me 110%. I don't know if it was just coincidence or not, but there's two ways it works. So the one way is like you have a pierce and then it heals and whatever, and you find some people have it in 1, some people have it in 2. It all depends on the piercer says it doesn't matter as much, but sometimes it helps more if, say, for example, you're having the headaches on one side rather than the other. Have it on the same side that ear is.
Yeah.
Then it can help. And the other way is like if you can't get on with the piercing, sometimes what happens is when you pierce through it, it pierces through like the nerve or whatever it is, and it just breaks it, it destroys it. So the scar tissue when it heals and stuff, if the scar tissue is like present and it sort of heals over it or whatever, or it's got that pressure, that sort of scarring can eliminate it as well. So
Okay.
if you can't get on with the piercing and you take it out, there is still a chance of the scar tissue from the piercing can still have the effect of reducing or just removing the migraines or headaches in general.
Okay.
Sadly, like I said, I kept cleaning it. I went back. I got it changed from a ring to a longer bar, so it had more room because it kept on swelling up. And I've only ever had 2 piercings that have been done professionally. There was that one, and then I had my Medusa done. And they're the only 2 that got infected, and they're the only 2 that actually went wrong. Every other piercing, I've had like maybe 20, 30 piercings. I've all done them myself,
Right.
and none of them have got infected at all. And it's just weird. I don't know. Well, it wasn't infected. It just wouldn't heal that one. I've still got like a massive lump in my Medusa from the scarring and stuff that they done. You're probably going to slap me if you see me because I had it done in Blue Banana. So that's probably, yeah. I was young, dumb, full of cum, and then I had a needle through my lip. So
Might as
That
well have just
explains a
gone
lot.
and got it done in Claire's.
exactly, I know, with a bloody gun, right?
Yeah.
But it was more of an impulse thing of the day. I had my snake bites. I thought, fuck it, why not have a Medusa? Because I stretched my snake bites to 1.6 mil or 2 mil, I think it was, from 1.2, and then I just wanted the Medusa to match. So I just had it pierced, and it just never really healed. And it was awful. I kept it in though, but the scarring and stuff like that, it was just nah. It was not good. Not good.
I have thought about getting the dice done.
It's good.
I,
Honestly,
I
it
I
was.
do tend to get headaches, not as much, so I don't like. It's very rare, not too rare, but it's rare that I do get headaches, and it's always usually on one side. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been umming and ahhing about it, really.
honestly, it was worth it, and like my piercer was really good about it. He gave me extra jewelry and stuff like that. Like once it healed, blah blah blah. But it kept I've had issues with my ears like since I was a kid. I was about 8 or 9. I had this. I was on holiday and I had this really bad ear infection, and I was ill for most of the holiday. And sadly, my ears haven't been right since. So yes, I can hear the hatch from like across the map, but in other aspects of my life, having dodgy ears it's not good. So I don't know what it is, but yeah, I just don't think it agreed with me. So
Yeah.
when I had the piercings all around, like where they have the scaffolding and all that, and what is it, the rock and stuff from the earlobe all the way out on the outside of the ear, I had
Yeah.
I had all of that pierced, like multiple piercings. Most, if not all of them, healed perfectly. The only reason why they didn't is because I don't condone this, but when I had them, I was like a whiskey or two deep, just so I didn't feel it even less.
Yeah.
But I was completely sober. It was just like, it just helps a little bit, doesn't it? Just to numb it, like liquid confidence, shall we say?
Yeah.
But it was good. Like I really love my piercings, but the reason why I took them out was to work with children and social services. And so I didn't want to look like, but yeah, I just wanted to look more professional, and I took my sort of image more seriously. I kept my plugs and stuff. I've still got like 14, 16 mils in my ears, but I took up the snake bites and all that kind of stuff out.
Well, my next piercing, I'm getting my nose pierced on Saturday. I'm just getting the other side done though.
Yeah, I was thinking to do that myself. I didn't know whether I wanted the I can't remember what it's called now. Nose ring. Bull ring, sorry.
Mm.
Oh my
Well,
god,
I
septum.
just yeah, that's it, septum. Well, I
Yeah.
just want a ring on one side and a stud on the other. I've always kind of wanted that, but I've just never really remembered to get it done. Plus, I
Yeah.
don't leave my room, so
You don't touch grass.
Oh, I have been. I've touched more grass than I've ever touched grass before.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Saucy. No, I understand. Like I've done some photoshops and stuff to see what it looked like, but I'm not too sure on it. I don't know if I don't know if it suit me or not. That's the thing. Because I've always liked it, like you've got either a ring or a stud. I think a ring looks better on males than studs. I don't know why. Maybe because I grew up with like what the girls get. They come back with studs in their noses, and it just looks just a generic white girl thing. If I say. But yeah, I've contemplated the nose thing quite a lot.
I think I've been contemplating it for like 2 years.
Have you touched grass within those 2 years?
Well, yeah, but
Then you could have had it done.
I just forget. But then I kind of go out with a purpose. Like I either need like supplies or
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't plan it. I think it'll if it's meant to happen, it will just happen one day.
Well, obviously I've planned it now because I'm doing it on Saturday. But
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
so,
Very nice.
Do you want to fill everyone in?
do I have to?
I mean,
you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Don't
But
put him on the
could.
spot like that. That's rude, man.
I know.
How
Well,
dare you?
He's got it out for me. I swear he does.
You were the one that attacked me as soon
To
as
be
we
fair,
started.
I was going to say from the start of this stream, who's got it out for who?
From the start of well, not the start, but at least like maybe half an hour in, it was me.
Me.
It was me.
Me,
But no,
baby.
I've got a lovely date on Saturday, and that I'm really excited for. So
I'm excited for you, to be fair. Like, you seem like a kid at Christmas. Like, super happy
yeah.
about it.
To be fair, I am. Yeah, I am a very big kid at Christmas.
Oh, I mean, regarding this situation,
Wait, which situation?
the date. Like
Yeah, the date. That's what I'm
Oh,
talking
right,
about.
cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. Right, I just thought you called the wrong end. Sorry, brain cell again. Brain cell.
Oh yeah, the whole quality over quantity. Maybe you should rethink that.
Look, I haven't had enough sneak today, so that's my excuse. I've got a sad empty bottle. Well, I say empty, it's just got water in it, but I've got a sad bottle of water next to me.
No, diddums.
To be fair, I've got like 20 tubs plus of Sneak beside me, so I could put some in. I'm just too lazy to.
Sounds
It's
about
just like,
right.
oh, effort.
But no, yeah, I am a kid at Christmas. Like, I know I've had like issues like just before when I started the subathon and that whole IRL experience went down. But yeah,
But
like I've been talking to her since I think day 2 of the subathon. I think
Nice.
where I was just obviously doing the subathon, and then during breaks and like little intermissions, I'd message her and she'd message me. Yeah, I'm very much kid at Christmas. Very excited. Just
Very
lovely.
nice.
it's glad because like you. To be fair, I don't want to touch on it too much, but you did handle it very well, and like you addressed it, and then nothing else was said, and what happened. And I think that was the best. And as much as it may have affected you, you didn't let that come through on any of your streams. The quality of your streams didn't like diminish or anything.
Oh
Um,
yeah, like at the end of the day, my streams are my job. Like
exactly.
I just try and act in the most professional way I can. You know, being in a position that either me, like myself, or you or Ash are in, like you just gotta kind of get on with it.
Yeah. What about Ryan?
Ryan doesn't stream anymore.
No, I can't.
Too
It's just
busy
that weekly.
cuddling.
Bruh.
But no, when you've got a community like ours, you kind of have to just nip it in the bud. Like especially since the start of my streaming, like Georgie was she started with me,
Yeah.
Mm.
so you know. But when you're in a position like we are, and you've got a community like we do, like I just felt like I had to go more professional about it, and you know, as I said, nip it in the buds, explain that potentially streams might not have that energy that I usually do, but it'll still be the same kind of vibes. Like a lot of my streams are very relaxed, chilled vibes anyway. And sometimes I can, depending on what happens, I can just pick up the energy anytime I want, really. But like everyone knew in advance that I was dealing with stuff during that time and that, but I just got on with it, really.
Yeah.
At end of the day, streaming's my job. I've got a lot of passion for it, and I don't want anything to ruin it. So
Exactly. And I think because you got such a supportive, sort of close knit community as well.
yeah,
And it's like not just yours, like Ash's, myself, the other people that you're in like a circle, like Chase and that. Like we're all sort of like knit together, so we know. So if
yeah,
anybody does say anything, we'll be like, look, we don't want to talk about it, kind of thing. So you won't even have to answer anything. Not that anything's come up, but because we're all tightly knit, so that's what we keep each other sort of going, kind of thing. And
yeah.
you don't have time to think about that stuff.
Well, to be fair, with the whole subathon thing, I
That's
didn't have
crazy.
time. I didn't have time to think, regardless.
You,
Like,
to be fair, you didn't even notice anything was wrong. Like if
I'm
I
very
did,
good at putting on a face. I'm very
well,
good.
that's what you have. That's what you have to do, though, isn't it? Like that's being an adult. You have to do that. But what I mean is as well. Like even since the subathon, it's just when you said the energy might be a little bit different or a little bit off or whatever, it hasn't changed. Like nothing at all has changed. Like
Yeah,
you've been the
because
same sort of like happy, chilled, quite animated sometimes self.
I
And
think that's more due to the support of like you guys and my friends and my community. And it's like when it comes to streaming, I never want to put on a bad show. Like I'm good at putting on a face. Don't get me wrong. I'm very good at it. Blame the autism. But
so what you're saying is you're faking it. How
not
could you?
necessarily
I'm
faking
joking, I'm
it.
joking.
But I'm just like
Being
when
able
it
to
comes
push
to
everything
streaming,
back.
yeah, like I push
No, I know what you
everything
mean.
back regardless. Like whenever I start to do streaming, like say for example, it reaches 2 o'clock. Like I obviously in the subathon I started at 12 until 12. So I had to change schedules there. But I still had the same kind of schedule that I usually do. Like I get up at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Um I'd have an hour to just kind of space out and just do me things, like just have something to eat or just get ready and set up. And then from like 11 o'clock onwards, I just think about what I need to do for stream, like, and the amount of, like, obviously you guys discussed it in the last episode, the amount of times the bloody timer broke. So I had to fix the timer, but obviously Ash did the math. The timer was pretty much always broke anyway, give or take. Like when I reset it and I added what I thought, like what I knew, because that's the rules I set myself, which was 5 minutes for each sub. So every time that did that, I added 5 minutes. But then obviously I didn't know until the last bloody day, which might have been the last day. I don't know, but obviously it was adding 10 minutes, so I wasn't aware it was adding 10 minutes per sub. So yeah, that was
And I think to anyone that doesn't stream or anyone that doesn't sort of do this kind of thing, was like, oh well, what's the difference between like 10 minutes? Like honestly, going from 5 minutes to 10 minutes is huge, especially when like yourself, you've been going for 12-hour days. You've had barely any sleep because like like if I was to do that every time after I stream, I'm hyped. So like
yeah,
when I come off a stream Fridays at like 11, half 11 or so, I can't sleep till like 1, 2, or maybe later in the morning because I'm just hyped from the stream. Even if I seem tired like after the stream, it's just like a sort of adrenaline, like a second wind kind of thing. As soon as I press like go off, like I'm hyped from everything that's happened. I'm just remembering everything that's happened. So with you, like you've been at your computer for 12 hours. You've not been able to talk to anyone really, like in your life, like your mum or the girl that you're going to be seeing, that kind of stuff, all that kind
yeah,
of things that you would on a normal day. Then you've got to get sleep. Then you've got to wake up, do it all over again.
yeah.
You've practically got no sense of a normal life. And as much as I'm not trying to paint in a bad light, but as much as it sounds like I am, it's not, because the memories and the things that you accomplished during that time is just well worth it. It's just, if people say, oh well, there's no difference between 5 and 10 minutes, it's just 5 more minutes. Like there's, it just makes it, like when you had that sudden realization, it made, like I could feel, like it was funny, like I said in the podcast, it was funny, but as soon as I saw your face, I felt what you was going through, and it was awful because I know how sort of debilitating that would be. It's not a very
Well, to
nice
be fair,
feeling.
like obviously now I'm here, I can kind of go a little more in depth with it. Like obviously, like you said, I was literally distraught.
Yeah,
And while I did see the funny side, and I tried to kind of not necessarily hide how I truly felt,
Just sort of to
but
laugh it off.
to laugh it off is difficult, but you still got to try and do it to save face, though, right?
yeah, but obviously, like as like the seconds went on and the minutes went on, obviously, like you guys said, you could see that it was coming to the sudden realization that everything, like I did what 3 days extra, was it Ash?
Yeah, about that. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but yeah.
So yeah, 3 days extra, which is 12, 24, 36 hours more. And it's like,
I,
I really wanted to say it. Like I was trying so hard to save face, but then I was like, it just all kept, like you said, it could have been rest time for me because that's what
yeah,
I was really missing at that point. Like I needed a break, and I knew every single day past, I think day 3, um, every single day, I just knew I needed rest.
yeah. It's because like in that moment, your head isn't contemplating the maths. Like how many hours did I do? Whatever. Like if you're thinking, oh shit, 10 minutes per sub, in your head, it's automatically every sub that's gone on the entire 10 days that I've streamed, it's been doubled.
Yeah.
So like that sort of reasoning behind it, like the rationale, like it doesn't hit you until like you've calmed down and your body's calmed down and that kind of stuff, because everything's just in the moment.
Like, trust me, I really wanted to see the funny side of it, but my mind would just went
Yeah,
dead. Like
which is
I just went
understandable.
dead.
Like you could
That's
see,
why I
like,
joined the call, just to like, because I knew it'd hit you.
yeah, you could see it in your face.
But then it's like I just tried to put a funny spin on it just to kind of not let it get to me too bad, but in the end it still did. And
It,
my bad habit tends to be whenever I'm in a bad situation, I try and make as much light of it as possible. But in that situation, I was just kind of like, oh, fuck. So I just fell apart. Literally, I
Yeah.
just fell apart.
Well, looking on the bright side, you earned at least, like, after Twitch has cut, like 1,600. So there's that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There's that. Like that's like half a month's wage or something. Like in like
It's pretty much.
in a decent job, isn't it? Oh no, it's 1,200. Like part-time job is a month's wage is like 1,200, 1,300 a month.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Overall, so the first half of it I'm gonna get, which is about, I think I saw it at £1,538.
Exactly. That's insane. That's
And
incredible.
then obviously the subs kept coming after the month had ended. So um I'm gonna earn about another, I haven't checked for completely this month what I'm already at,
Yeah.
but it should be around another 500. But
how long has it been since you worked a job, Kev?
How do you mean?
Because I want to know
In
what
regards to what you thought the
I
pay.
want to know what part-time job pays you £1,300 a month.
Is it part-time or full-time? I'm
I-
thinking of then.
I take
full
home
time.
I take home like 1,400 working an average of 38 hours a week.
I was taking over $2,000 in my job, and I was doing over 40 hours a week.
Like
I was doing 12-hour, 13-hour shifts.
you would struggle to find a part-time job that would pay you over £1,000 a month.
Well, to be fair,
it's more
yeah. So I was
full-time.
on about a full-time job then. But to
Yeah.
be fair, I did have a 16-hour job. I was working part-time because the amount of overtime I was getting, and then that on top, I was getting more than the manager. So there's that. I've always been one to
I was
throw
like,
myself
hold
into
on
work.
a minute. Am I missing a trick here? Because I did 38 and a half hours a week on average, and I'm taking home like what he thinks is part-time. What the fuck jobs were you working?
No, I'm just trying to think back. I think my job in the call center was like maybe 1,300 base. And then if I had commissions, if I had my full bonus, that kind of thing, I would obviously gain a lot more. And I was super good with selling when I couldn't be fucked, to be honest. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to push because I always felt guilty. Because they would like, no matter how much they top up or no matter how much they do this or that, always ask them for a contract and try and push it on them constantly. I was like, no, I've got morals. I don't want to. If they're spending like 50, 60 quid a month, and they're just calling and texting people, yes, I'm going to give them, or I'm going to offer them a contract for like £5 a month for unlimited calls and texts. But I'm not doing it if they're topping up like a £5 every 2 months or so. But the managers, like, they actually give me a row for not doing it. And they said, look, if you don't promote more, we're going to be giving you a written warning and like essentially on the way out, you go in, like, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I had to ask everyone regardless. And it was just annoying because I didn't want to do that because there's people that you can tell, like, they don't know what they're doing month to month, their jobs from month to month, that kind of stuff. And the fact that I was putting them in a position where they thought they had to take out a contract for minimum of 12 months. And then if they don't pay it, then it's going to go on their record and stuff like that. And their credit score is going to be fucked. Like, that didn't sit right with me. So in the end, I did end up doing it. And I ended up earning like 1.5, 2 times the amount of my basic wage, which, yeah, it's good. But I only did it because I had to keep my job, if that makes sense. I didn't feel good. Didn't feel good about it. It was awful. But now I work for myself with 3 jobs now. I work for, obviously, me and my wife's got our thing going on with the website and the social media management and advertising and that kind of stuff.
OnlyFans / King Crazy.
Okay, fourth one. No, right. I just want to clarify here now. The only pictures on my OnlyFans are pictures of my dog or me in eyebrows and an Ace Visconti costume. Okay. So because I don't think I'm thinking the only reason why I took the OnlyFans is because of the name. I didn't want anyone with my name going on OnlyFans because there's two places that I haven't got King Crazy as my handle, like just the one word with nothing in between or whatever, and that's Instagram and Snapchat. Some girl from Indonesia or something, I don't bloody know, have took King Crazy on Instagram, and someone has taken it from somewhere on Snapchat. So I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm taking it on OnlyFans.
Have you ever thought of applying to get the handle?
Yes. But because the account, well, they
Is it
have to
active?
contact. Yeah, it's active, but they haven't posted at all. So whether or not they're doing stuff in DMs and stuff, I don't know.
Mm.
That's the
See, I've got the same issue because the Apocalypse handle is taken by someone also in Indonesia. so
Indonesians taking our handles.
Have you tried reaching out to them directly?
But yeah,
No.
so
Just slip in the DMs $5 for your
I
Instagram
tried.
handle.
I genuinely tried.
You did?
I have the DM still, and they just haven't got back to me. So, and that's been like I think over a year and a half, maybe 2 years now.
I'm not talking to this fucking furry. But yeah, so I just want to put it clear that there's no actual nudes or anything on there. There's pictures of my dogs, mainly because technically, if you want to call OnlyFans a job, which it isn't, well, not for me at least. Anyway, I just want to clarify that one.
I was more just going off the fact that you were talking about you and your wife's business on a website.
Yeah, so I'm not going to announce that on the podcast. I'm joking. But yeah, because obviously I'm a skateboard coach, so I work with children and I work in schools. Obviously, I can't have that stuff, so I don't do it. So, like the three sources of income that I have are my social media, website design, development, advertising, that kind of stuff is my main source of income. Second and third source, I think skateboarding coaching is paying more than Twitch at the moment because I don't sort of stream that much, and I'm getting back into it now. Which obviously, if I do get any more subs or whatever, that is going to pick up again. But yeah, so Twitch and skateboarding is my other one. With skateboarding, obviously I've got DBS check and all that kind of stuff, so I'm safe. Well, I'm cleared to work with children.
Legally safe.
Yeah, I'm legally safe until I go goblin mode. But but no,
I can't wait for you to see this podcast video.
Just make sure to edit it and upload it this time properly. Jeez.
Yeah, I will.
Do me a favor. You've got access to the YouTube and stuff. You can just put it on there.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
It's simple. Because if you do it through Google Drive, this is why you should install Google Drive on your computer. Because you can just drag and drop it. And
It is there, and I've told you this like 50 million times every time you say it. Every time I do it that way, it doesn't work properly, and I end up having to go back in and manually re-upload it to the Google Drive.
Seems like a
Mommy and Daddy are fighting again.
You're not allowed to talk. Get
I was
back in the
looking at
basement.
Ash's icon then, like, yeah, he's gonna say something. Mommy and Daddy.
Get back to the basement.
I'll go back.
Jeffrey will be down soon.
I love that picture.
You know, I thought that's what you were gonna do.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, I'm not conventionally working normal jobs, and I think that I've always said the same thing. Like with regards to work, I've never wanted to be like stuck in a 9 to 5 or stuck in a normal job, and I never have. In all fairness, like I worked in an office, but it was like 12, 13-hour shifts, and so that's not like a typical job. It was quite sort of mentally exhausting, if I'm honest. And it's not because of the long hours, it's because of the fact that I'd have no daylight.
But you've never done a Dolly Parton then?
The fuck is that?
Working 9 till 5?
9 till
Oh,
5, you
Jesus
really
Christ.
didn't get that?
Fucking
Look,
hell.
you've seen the new screen that he's got for us that he just sent. So just take the brain cell and just move on. Like
It's like one of the most famous songs she ever done.
well, it's the name. It just didn't instantly ring a bell.
The
Obviously,
name
saying
Dolly Parton didn't ring a bell straight away. Come on.
Oh my god.
that. Look, I've got taste in music. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Jeez.
Wow.
Your Spotify playlist will say different.
It says
Hold the
added by
fucking
Yesters.
phone.
Oh, here we go.
Hold the
He's gonna call me out
phone.
now.
Yeah. Every time I come into your stream, it's one of the songs I've got in my
Look,
playlist. Like, where
I've
are
got- I've-
you getting them?
I've got 162 songs in this, and I've got the enhanced turned on. I like a song, I press like, or like, or is it add to playlist or something, or keep in playlist or something. It's not my fault.
He also has
But-
spooky, scary skeletons.
I don't know. I've still got that playlist, but can I just say, I'm gonna read out the either the artists or the songs that Ryan has added to this playlist, and now you'll realize why I've made my own playlist.
I was gonna say, Kev, right? You said I'm glad you added at the end that Ryan added them, because if you were just gonna, if you stopped there, I was just gonna ask if you wanted me to read out my playlist, because it's obviously fucking mine.
Oh no,
I could
no,
save you the work. I could just read out mine. I've changed a
I'm
lot
on
of mine now, though.
I'm on about my one, the playlist that I had before you put yours
Listen,
in chat. And I
listen,
stole half
right.
of the songs, or if not all of them.
If you're gonna,
Which I told you, mind. I did tell you.
if you're gonna make an open playlist and ask your community to put songs in there for you to listen to on stream and expect us not to troll you by putting fucking Barbie Girl in, then you are sorely
No,
mistaken,
no.
sir.
Do you or do you not have busted CDs and stuff like that in your car?
Yes, I do like Busted.
So
I don't see much issue with that.
Way you dress.
because
I was
I'm
going to say
there.
Busted was amazing back in the day.
Yeah,
but
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Kev.
That was my
Don't get me
music
wrong.
back in
I
the day.
listen to them. I like them. But when I go from something like bloody Lacuna Coil or something, or Disturbed, I don't want to go. That's what I go to school for. Yeah, and then it's like I don't want to go. With
That's
that.
the whole point of a community playlist. That was a choice that you made. Don't blame me for your choices.
I had such a dark thought come to my head then, and I'm not.
My friend,
wanna
you put
know
5
now.
seconds of summer. Since
I
when?
don't
did
want
you-
to say it.
Type
Since
it in the podcast chat.
Since when do you listen to 5 seconds of summer?
I have done. Why would I not add
Why?
a song if I don't listen to it?
It hurts. Okay, Lil Dicky. That's just you sort of putting yourself out
It
there.
was literally me just putting songs on that I knew would either make you laugh or you would find funny.
I'm very tempted to read this out. Right, so there's a lovely chat that you're gonna out me for stealing your playlist. I'll out you for this comment, bitch. So yeah, so I'll admit that Aaron posted on one of the last days that he played it, because every single song that he listens to, I'm like, fuck, what's the name of that song? I'll listen to it, right? Because you've got good taste in music. Ash has got good taste in music. Ryan's got like when I used to stream Beat Saber, the songs that Ash was suggesting, I was like, fuck, I need to put this in the playlist, like, because they were 6 songs. So you
Yes.
posted the link in there, and I was like, I was listening to it, and I was thinking, I'll just save this playlist, and then I'll add to it.
Oh, so the truth comes.
So that's an admittance of theft of playlist then.
Yeah.
Can I just say,
I
like
think I died.
5 minutes ago, I told you that I stole it, and then I started listening to it. I told you on the day that I fucking did it, you posted the link in your chat, and I said, thanks, I'm going to listen to this while I play, or while I do WoW, or edit, or whatever. It's not my fault you ignored me, and now you're coming at me with a fucking knife. You stole my songs.
I won't come at
cunt."
you. I'll come in you. Fuck off.
And I'll enjoy it. But right,
No,
so
I have. I've done not a completely new playlist, but I've added a lot and taken out a lot that I don't really like anymore.
yeah, there's some songs in there that I was thinking like, the fuck, like, but it's not many. Most of them really good, within reason.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at what I put in chat.
Yeah, and I'm just about to read that out. So
So just before he does, this will be the last episode of Listen Gamer Podcast.
Yeah, don't read that
At least
out.
with me in.
well, it's
Yeah.
so here's your disclaimer: there's a dark humor joke coming soon in the next minute or so. Depends on how much we waffle on for. Okay, so
Please
On the
keep
to-
waffling.
On the topic of music, the lovely Apocalypse just decided to say in our group chat. Let the
Listen,
bodies-
you were the one that said that you went for fucking whatever you
term?
said. Yeah, and then
what I go to school for.
yeah, and then how did that not come to your head?
Because we're not sick, Aaron. That's fine.
I'm autistic, not sick.
That's not an excuse.
It is an excuse. I have no filter.
Neither do I, but let the bodies hit the floor. That's what I go to school for. America 2022.
Oh God! I'm gonna be cancelled.
Well,
Oh.
it's been fun,
You're gonna
guys.
be
I hope you've
cancelled.
enjoyed the 15 episodes because there ain't gonna be one next week.
You're going to be cancelled before you return to streaming.
Depends when Ryan uploads this.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe cancel this week's episode.
Right, so
Well, yeah, I'll be uploading this and there'll just be a massive blank patch in the middle.
Just put a bleep over that entire sentence that Kev just said.
Please, please.
I'll just replace it with fart noises. It's not far off the
Oh,
same thing.
that works.
I'll just put it in the description though. This is censorship. You can't be censoring us. If Spotify and stuff don't like it, then it'll be reported. But
Bro, if I don't censor you, YouTube will permanently censor us.
then we'll make another one. It'll be the I Listen Gamer podcast.
I listen to YouTube's feedback favorite podcast.
Look, it's a quote, and it's a quote. It just so happens it's a quote from somebody in this podcast. That goes under the name of America
2022.
2022.
Sick.
No, it's fine. It's fine. There's a lot worse out there. We just made a pun of two songs. Well, Aaron, I was no part in this.
I was gonna say
You
we.
read it out,
No,
you
no, no,
read
no,
it
no, no. Me and Ryan are the only
Absolutely
innocent ones here.
disgusting.
Yeah, thank you, Ash.
You're the one that read it out, Kev. It might be you that gets cancelled.
Well, if
I'm
it is,
cancelling me. Don't fucking stream anymore anyway.
it is what it is.
You'll come back as Queen Crazy.
Oh, hello, gamers.
When did he become Irish?
I don't know.
No.
God.
Oh my
Oh, hello
Jesus.
there, gamers.
I would wonder how long you keep up an Irish accent for.
Whose coat is that jacket? Whose shoes are those trainers?
Has anybody seen the metal detector?
That newspaper
God.
you're sitting on, are you reading that?
Oh Jesus.
Oh, God. Your menaces, the pair of you.
Oh, trust me. Maybe we
You
should
guys
make
have missed me.
maybe we should have our own podcast. Like we'll come here. This is the safe for work podcast. Me and you should have our after dark podcast or something.
Oh God, no! After Dark. You've seen my After Dark stream, haven't you? That's not safe for work.
Me, that is tame. That is tamer than this podcast.
Well,
You didn't see us playing fucking Quiplash in Discord because it was not safe for fucking not safe for Twitch fucking terms of service.
Dude, we need a community night. Just I think it was like either cards or Quiplash. It'll be fantastic.
it's like you guys picked up on as well, though. Like saying what I remember someone saying something. I think it was you, Ryan. That the Jackbox games can be very dangerous to play on stream,
Yeah.
and I knew that.
Yeah,
I used-
they can be really dangerous to play on stream. The main one is which you didn't really do when we played the other night, Kev, is not showing the code and only sharing it like in your Discord or amongst the
Yeah.
people you know are playing.
Yeah,
I was surprised you were showing it in your stream.
But it
Honestly,
wasn't
the
too
reason-
bad because we just wouldn't start the game with unknown people in there anyway, and we've got the Twitch. You can assign it to have Twitch authentication, which
Yeah, I was very
you-
sad when I saw that you had that because I had such an amazing name ready, and
Yeah.
it said, "Nah, you got to
Can
sign
you
up
just
to
do me a favor
Twitch."
and tell us that name?
No, because I'm going to use it for the next time I'm playing DBD with Aaron. and I'm not streaming.
Yeah, so like there are things that you can do to sort of protect yourself, or at least hold people accountable for what they're saying, but it's
Yeah,
still
that's-
a risky game.
That's the reason why I put Twitch verification, because one, I was like, look, so I had what, 15-ish, 10, 15 viewers at the time. So I know that only people that would join in would be the people that are there and that have done it and that can be asked, essentially, that aren't busy. And I know, like, lately, the only time I have trolls and stuff is like when, for example, at the end of Dead by Daylight games, if I shit on killers or I shit on people as a killer or whatever, or there's just toxic people coming in from the game before telling me to get cancer and whatnot because I dropped 70% of the pallets. Not all of them, but 70% of the pallets on the one map. Running the killer for 5 gens.
You run the killer for 5 gens. You're so trash.
I know. Even the killer stuck up for me. It was hilarious. And then he came in and started saying these really shit your mum jokes. And it was just hilarious because I said one joke back to him and then he just left. And he just didn't say anything. It was great.
It's like the guy that joined Lynx's stream during the fucking subathon and said he looked like Tokyo Hotel, and everyone was like,
Yes.
fucking sick.
Dude, it was.
Yeah, I got more impressed with that than insulted, to be honest.
You've gone from insulting someone to completely
The best laugh
complimenting
is
them.
he got them again later on in the
Oh, he did?
fucking subathon, and he came back and trying
Yeah.
to insult you again.
Nice.
Yeah, he asked if I'd released any more albums with Tokyo Hotel, and I was like, it's in the works.
It's in the works.
Should release a rap album.
But no, I didn't know what Tokyo Hotel was when he first came in, and I searched it up, and I was like, that's sick.
They're
Thanks,
pretty
my
good,
guy.
actually. They're not bad. From what I remember of them.
Well, I just liked his hair. His hair was sick.
A fellow furry.
No,
No.
Not a furry.
very fun. You need to get this into your one brain cell, mate.
I can't.
It's kind of, there's not enough room.
It's stuck. It's stuck in there. I can't help it. Oh, I'm very tempted to bring something up, but I just can't. Yes, it felt like the right time, but like then nerves and stuff got the better of me.
No.
You can do it, you pussy, because I know exactly what you're on about. No balls.
No balls.
Yeah, I got no balls. Oh no!
We're
it's-
waiting.
No! I'm not doing it now. On to
We're
more.
waiting.
awful
We're
topics.
literally-
Active
we're
discussions.
literally- We are legitimately not moving this podcast
Legit,
on.
really.
Oh,
Hang on,
We're
back
not
up.
moving it on
Legit,
until you say it.
We will sit here and argue with you until you do it, and then I'll just cut this bit out in editing.
I can just leave the call. I'll just see you guys next week.
Come on, bring it
And
up.
then he's
Come
like,
on.
Oh, you know what? No, not yet.
No. Come on.
I'm a pussy, fam.
Oh.
I'm worse than this guy called Apocalypse reaching for the milk as soon as he had the chip.
Fuck's sake.
Not my fault. It had more ball sack than sweat.
Still have more balls than what Kev's got right now.
Oh, I'm sorry that mine are your like 6 inches deep in the council estate tonight.
Still
I'm
didn't
literally
shoot.
sat in my room, so you keep saying tonight, like you know my schedule
I
of where I'm
know.
meeting people at. Like I
Look.
literally just sat here in my pajamas,
Most-
like I have been all day.
You lazy fuck. To be fair though, that is the best part about working from home, isn't it?
I've been in my pajamas and slippers all day. Yes,
Just like Wallace and Gromit, you just need a dog now.
just need cheese.
Oh, you've got plenty of that. Just drop your cacks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So circling
literally.
back to what you were gonna say.
Oh, straight out of the furry dungeons of rap. These bars go deep as my podcast with Ryan's little legs, which means he can't be running fast. Aaron's getting slapped all over the hook. It's because of his because of his look. And Ash is picking out the hunters to make a mistake so he can hurry this match up so he can take care of his snakes. there. It's fucking shit, okay? It took me 5 minutes.
And for anyone that loves that, you can buy it on
Buy it on Spotify, Apple Music.
for $5.99.
There, I'll just put in the things because I fucked it up because of nerves. But Ryan
Have
did
it-
say it better.
Come
To
into
be
a
fair,
TikTok near
that
you.
wasn't as bad as what you thought it was.
Oh, yeah.
That was alright.
Thank you. You're being too kind.
I mean, it was literally 30 seconds or something. You must have come up with that because
yeah,
I
it
know
was.
we were literally talking about. I'm like, all right, I've got something.
Yeah. Like I was to be joining the consoles. You was talking to me and it came through and stuff, and I was watching. What was I watching? I don't know, but I was just watching something on TV, and I was just lying there in my hoodie, and just like I was just zombied, and I was like, shit, have I got to do a rap? So I just thought, what can I just say? Just a little thing about each of you, and then that came of it, and then I just sent it to Queen on Discord so I can just have it on the computer then ready. And I almost pasted it into this group chat, and I didn't want you guys to see it until I actually did it. So I just thought it was shit, but it was just funny.
It
Take
was a
some piss out
decent
of
effort.
Ryan's little legs, and then Aaron being slapped on the hook because of his do, and then you with your snakes. It's a little funny thing.
I'm
for
just
people to
impressed
know.
there wasn't a chip joke in there.
I know when content gets stale, Ryan. This is why you're not in next week's podcast.
Fine. Ooh.
It's a joke saying that you're. Oh my god. Oh, who's got the one brain cell now? Have you changed my picture back, by the way?
No.
You fucked.
Stuff like that for the rest of the episodes.
So that whole rap, which will be going on TikTok, will be you as a brain cell.
So you know what? Then I'll do it. I'll send you a recording of it later, and I'll put a beat on it or something.
No, it's being released raw. I'll
Okay,
give you
do
I'll give you the other one later on if you actually do end up recording it.
Right, I'll do it raw, so there's no mistakes on it, and then I'll put a beat on it for you.
All right. I'm still uploading the one from the podcast anyway. Though.
That was honestly, that's the first time I've ever read it out loud. Actually, that's the first time I've read it in its entirety. Because I was only reading it of the 2 lines that I said about you both. Well, all 3 of you. That's all I read it as. 2 lines at a time.
Good effort. Well done.
Thank you.
Gold star.
Thank you. So can I stop being nervous now?
No, you can be nervous until you see the TikTok release and see what I come up with.
Mate, that stuff doesn't bother me. It's the fact that I had to speak in front of you guys with something that I made, and like my stomach is doing knots. I swear to God, I'm gonna get off this podcast and I'm gonna have the runniest poop of my life.
Oh no, he's gonna puke again.
Poop.
To
not
be
puke.
fair, no one was going to bring it up until you dug yourself a hole and then said, "Oh, I was going to do it, but it wasn't the right time," and that's what brought it up. If you just
Well,
shut up about it, nobody would have
No.
mentioned
If it
it.
wasn't for you saying, "I know what this is," then it wouldn't have been. brought up.
Everybody in this call knew what you meant by that.
I
Had
didn't,
nothing to
I'm
do with
afraid.
me.
I was gonna.
Oh,
say
Byron, you
Aaron
don't get
wouldn't
to-
have.
I knew where it was going from because he tried to set it up by telling Lynx about releasing a rap album.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely missed that.
Fuck you guys.
Love you too, buddy.
But talking of the subathon, like I know obviously it probably didn't end the way you wanted it to or ever imagined it would have. But like looking back on it now, have you like managed to reflect on it and like what were your thoughts on it afterwards?
I need a better timer. I need a better timer.
I'll
Thank
send
God
you
I
mine.
only. Thank God I only do this once a year, man.
Right there.
But yeah. Just yeah.
That's one
I-
that I use and it worked perfectly.
I just need. I needed a better timer, one that didn't break. That's the only thing I'd change about it.
Yeah.
I could maybe, I think, work out my time better of when to have breaks and stuff, and work out like better content while I'm having that breaks. Because the only content I really had while I was having a break, which to its credit, like people still loved and still love to play now, which was words on stream.
Yeah, if you've got like sort of even a handful of people in chat, like it's something that they can interact with. That's the biggest thing I think. Is the interactivity of it.
Yeah. But no, yeah, like the timer was the biggest problem, I think.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I wouldn't change anything else. Like, I still had a lot of fun. I had a lot of good experiences. Got a lot of good clips out of it.
Mhm.
Like, it honestly, it killed me, but I wouldn't change it. Honestly. But
Like,
I think what hit me the most, like it wasn't necessarily the timer messing up or anything. I think what hit me the most was everyone sending me messages after the stream, because I just went straight and jumped into bed and was the golem that I believe I am. Um, I just sat in darkness and yeah, I was just trying to take a mental kind of break,
mm,
because that's essentially what I did from the end. Like the moment I ended stream, that was it. I was in bed and just sitting in the darkness, just trying to recollect any of my mental capacity. Um, but no, I think definitely what hit me most was everyone sending me messages after, just hoping that, like, thanking me for like the streams and keeping them entertained, and they hope I get a good rest. And yeah,
mm.
overall it was just really wholesome. Like, yeah, I wouldn't change anything really, just the timer because it was a piece of shit. But yeah,
What would you think about the way you structured the streams then? Like, I know you said about planning your breaks more. Like,
well,
now that you've done it like that, and the way that you, I don't know how to frame it. It's more like with Dead by Daylight, you can get bored of Dead by Daylight quickly, or like if you, rather than feeling you had to go back to Killer because you played solo survivor, I think 1 or 2 times because people weren't around
yeah.
at certain times of the day, or they, because of Overwatch coming out, they were playing Overwatch or whatever, that kind of stuff. So what would you do? Would you sort of like plan it or structure it thinking like, just in case XYZ isn't available, I've got this to fall back on, rather than if I don't really feel like playing Killer, I don't have to force myself to play Killer. I can, like, for example, play a different game that is still
Well,
interactive, or that I can make some good content with. Or
it kind of comes back to the whole thing of me being, well, not me necessarily, but um obviously I made my channel, and it pretty much got all of its activity or popularity from Dead by Daylight. And obviously me being a Dead by Daylight streamer, pretty much majority of my community, even though they, a lot of them have said that they'd, watch me and follow me into any game. Like I did Warframe, I did Fall Guys, I did the Test trilogy. Um,
Team 5
but
crowns,
obviously,
just saying.
hell yeah. But no, like it comes back to that really bad struggle of that I can't be a variety streamer because I've built so much of my community around one game. And
I totally get that.
it's not that I feel forced to play it. Like, obviously, if you were to ask me what I prefer doing, it's obviously playing with my friends, with you guys, and my normal Swift that, I usually play with on a normal stream. But um I I guess I couldn't change the structure of it just because I'm not necessarily a one game like channel, but for what I've built and what I've got, it's all because of pretty much Dead by Daylight, and
Yeah.
people watch me because of my Dead by Daylight content. So even if I wanted to change the structure of stuff, I couldn't, because I, like, as I say, I'm pretty much a one game channel. Like,
So I feel that, because I switched. I just got burned out at Dead by Daylight, and then I totally switched it up. I didn't play Dead by Daylight for a while,
I
and I
think
lost most of the viewers. But even though they said that they'd stick around, but it's just
I
that other
So,
think
half that lurked. You know?
what helped me more, I think, because I noticed when it started to get a lot harder with just doing Dead by Daylight, um, was when I felt like I had nothing left to do. Like, obviously, getting to Erie 1 Killer and Survivor was one of my challenges anyway, because I like doing that for the 2 million blood points anyway.
mm,
Yeah.
But what has really kept me going was a mix of getting that Eerie, with both Eerie, Survivor, and Killer, but also with the kind of journey I'm on with getting, or trying to be first to P100 with demo. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much what has kept me going and what continues to keep me going with Dead by. And
What helped with me was, like you said, getting to every one, but it was the Rift as well, the Rift challenges.
Well, at that point, I'd already done the rift.
Yeah.
Like,
But once you've
but
done the rift, it's just like, what do I do now?
it got really hard for me, and I noticed it got really hard for me when I reached Erie 1 Killer and Survivor.
Yeah.
That's when it really, because I just felt like, what am I playing for? And like, of course, I had demo to P100 to fall back on, but then I guess for me, it kind of became mindless
Yeah.
because I kept running out of things that I not necessarily strive for, but I wanted to accomplish just to help get demo up faster.
The thing is,
But
that's sort of like a long-term goal. It can't really keep you going for a couple of hours because you're not going to get P100 in a couple of hours. Like, yeah,
well, yeah,
you chip away at it, but it's still something that's difficult to like maintain you over the course of a stream as a sort of goal. One thing you could possibly do, which might change it up a little bit, is just having like little different objectives in terms of actually when you play Dead by Daylight. So if you had like Chris, me, Ash, Kev, etc. around to do that 4-man Swift, is instead of just playing the game, of like when people just piss ass about and they'll do like a head-on squad or
well,
um
we still did that anyway. It's just
Storm found out.
like even like when they do like protect the president and just having
yeah.
stupid things like that as like a sort of side challenge, so you're not really playing Dead by Daylight for the reason of playing Dead by Daylight. If
Like
that makes sense.
I get it. I don't know though. It's just very different. Like when I'm concentrating on like such a long term goal, like getting demo up
Mm,
and getting Erie 1 Killer and Survivor. It's not that like playing in different ways will bring that excitement or interest to me anyway. Like we always do that anyway. Like we just piss around, do different builds, and just have a laugh, and that's all well and fine. I struggle to see that as like a side challenge or a side accomplishment because we just do it so much anyway.
mm.
It's like every
But
time I join when I'm downstairs, I don't join. Well, I join the voice chat, but I don't talk because of the obviously TV and stuff, and I don't want to mess up your stream audio. But my goal is to just die for you anyway, just so you can continue playing the game, continue surviving, and it's like you said, it's like you're the president, I'm protecting you, I'm going down for you, so you can survive and provide that content. So,
yeah,
like you said, we do it anyway.
yeah, exactly. But I just struggle to see that as like an effective side challenge or challenge to
Mm.
set myself because I can't really see it like that.
Yeah.
Whereas with demo P100 or Erie 1 Killer and Survivor, like it's accomplishing something, but not necessarily just to get to those ranks. It's more I just want the blood points so I can get demo up faster. But
Mm.
when I accomplished that, obviously I was back to kind of the mindset of, well, I'm just getting normal blood points now. I've done what I need to do to get more blood points for demo, but then I just ran out of steam in
Yeah.
a sense because I just didn't see any more kind of merit, I guess,
Yeah.
or to just playing anymore. And then I think what was my real saving grace was the test trilogy
Yeah.
and also playing Fall Guys with Bunny because that gave me life.
Yeah. That was absolutely brilliant.
But yeah, like I'd say mostly the test trilogy was the thing that saved my ass mainly because they were just such interesting games and I had
Yeah.
such wholesome moments with chat while doing them.
Yeah.
Well,
You also
well,
told chat off a lot as well, to be fair.
yeah.
My bad.
It's like those games just gave me cool little moments I could have with chat, whether it was the wholesome big bit at the end or what the tests actually meant towards mental health or anything like that. But also kind of the funny side, like have you ever punched a nun or masturbated into a fishbowl? Um,
I was
Just to be
about to
clear.
answer those questions. They were rhetorical, right?
No, they were actual questions with an answer that you needed to
Okay.
give.
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
but It's like, yeah, those games just gave me a bit more life. Like, chat enjoyed it, and just it wasn't Dead by Daylight. So
Yeah, that would be the sort of thing with that would be like, because obviously the first like 3 streams I think it was, you pretty much done exclusively Dead by Daylight. So it might be worth you, even if you were to play Dead by Daylight for the majority of each stream, but have something like the test, or even just a break where you play Fall Guys at the end of the stream for an hour
I
or
think
two.
I think one of the main struggles at the moment, I don't think it'll be a struggle next year when I do it. Um, it's not that I necessarily feel like I'm stuck to Dead by Daylight, but with all the games coming out this year that that are very varying for me, like FIFA or Need for Speed or Call of Duty, and even going into next year, you got Sons of the Forest or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I felt necessarily like I had no other games to play that I wanted to play, but also I wanted chat to have a good time watching. Like I think I did Warframe for a whole stream, didn't I? Or something like
A
that.
little bit
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, a
stream. You
little
didn't
bit.
do it for the whole stream.
I can't remember. But like I enjoyed doing Warframe, and it seems like people enjoyed watching Warframe. Like I don't think they really understood what was going on, but everyone still stuck around, and that was fantastic. But like when it comes to Warframe, that was my kind of break from Dead by Daylight that I needed. But in terms of like the original question of whether I would structure them different, probably not. I would still do majority Dead by Daylight just because that is the position I found myself in where, um, you know, I'm a one game channel in a sense.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to next year, I'll be in a better position to play more games or different games. I just didn't feel like I had those options this year. So pretty much it was majority Dead by Daylight, and I had to deal with it.
Yeah. That's fair. Ash, what would you do then?
What do you
Like
mean?
if like I'm curious because I don't think it was not so long back that you had your first hype train and it was a level 5 hype train, wasn't it?
Yes.
So if you were to, for example, if you were to do a subathon, what would you like? How would you do it? Would you do it like Aaron did? So like uncapped, but a certain amount of hours per day because of your work, or would you do it over a weekend? How would and what games
I
would you play?
probably would cap it just because I know I couldn't commit to streaming that amount of time.
Right. Okay.
Especially obviously I want to spend time with my family, my girlfriend, and what have you. So I don't think I'd ever do an uncapped one.
Yeah.
As for the games, it would probably just be kind of bouncing around what I fancied on the day. I think I've said it to Aaron in the past. I don't like having a schedule of what game I'm playing because then I kind of feel forced to play it,
Yeah.
and
No,
it
I get
kind
that.
of puts me in a different mindset when I'm playing it. Whereas if I wake up and I'm like, oh, I fancy playing this game, that feels better for me, which is why I've never had like a set schedule on what I'm playing.
Yeah. I've felt like that a few times. It's like when I've played Valorant or whatever, or WoW or something. Like you have to do it, and then you feel guilty for not doing it.
Yeah. I don't know. I've played a lot of different games, but I very much know what Aaron's saying in that he feels forced to play certain games.
Yeah.
Well, specifically Dead by Daylight.
Aaron's a pussy.
Because there is a noticeable drop in numbers when you play a game that you haven't kind of built your channel around.
Yeah, there is 100%, and
Um,
it's kind of demoralizing at the same time. Although, like it's like your regulars will stay there, but then it's like the lurkers, the ones that are lurking to watch Dead by Daylight. They're the ones that go.
yeah. I think the only time where I've actually had success when it wasn't Dead by Daylight is when I forgot the name of the fucking game now. Path of Titans that
Path of
came out.
Titans, yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
because of my name and kind of what my channel's kind of branded around, it just fit perfectly. But the game had like maybe a 1 week hype and then very quickly died off.
yeah,
So I had to go back to DBD again.
It's kind of like a few games though. I have noticed even when like there's still quite a lot of hype, the viewership does still significantly go down. Whether or not it's because people have seen other people play it and they've seen how it ends, or they've watched you for a week or whatever, and then they've got the game themselves, so they don't want to spoil it anymore. It's kind of strange. I've never sort of figured out why that kind of happens. If
I
I'm
think it
honest.
is a case of they'll just find someone they prefer watching, or they've just kind of got the game themselves, or they thought, oh, maybe this game isn't as good as what I expected, so I'm not really interested anymore. I'm gonna go and look at this game instead.
Yeah.
I find there's a lot of games recently that, like, their beta gets released, everyone gets hype about the beta, the game releases, and there'll
no
be
one
so
cares.
many, but there'll be so many bugs when the game releases that everyone's just like, oh well, this is shit now.
Yeah. It's like VHS. Look at the hype around that. Like they was releasing it in waves for the beta and stuff. Loads of people, but as soon as it got released,
They built it up
died.
so well, and then the release, it was just I think everyone just expected more from the release, which killed the game.
Yeah.
I found that with like quite a lot of games, like even Home Sweet Home, like that big beta, everyone was like, "Oh my god, this game's gonna be amazing!" Like they only need to fix a few things, and I think it released in a worse state than what it was in the beta, and everyone was like, "Well, this is shit."
I do remember a lot
Yeah.
of games like that. I think it was VHS and Home Sweet Home, and everyone was going into like regular DVD streamers' channels and be like,
Mm.
"Oh, you should go and play this. It's going to rival DVD. It's going to be amazing." I think the hype lasted a week or two, and then the game just like no one heard anything about it.
They say that about every asymmetrical game, though.
They do, yeah, but it's always the same case of, "Oh, you should get this," and then the game sort of dies down after 2 weeks, and you don't hear about the game again until it comes out, and even then, it's like the odd mention of it. It's not like the hype that it had when people come in and like, "Oh, go play this," and it's
Mm.
always been the same. Like
Like
nothing
everyone said that for VHS. Everyone said
Yeah.
that for the Evil Dead game.
They said it about
Yeah. What happened with
was
the
it
Evil Dead
Devour?
game though?
It's still going.
Still going, but it's dying.
It is dying.
I've
Mm.
seen a few people playing it, but yeah, it's just one of them games that, oh, it was a cool idea, cool concept, it's fun, and then you realize it's the same shit, and you just go back to DVD because it's got more licenses.
Yeah.
It's got more
That's-
licenses, and there's more variants.
Like, I think if you removed the licenses from Dead by Daylight, if there were no licensed characters in there, I still think
DVD would still be better.
yeah, it would be better than all of them still, because at its core, it's got solid gameplay. Like
The thing is, though, it's the
concept,
licenses that bring people in.
yeah, the concept and core gameplay is what it is, and it works. With all these like copycat or DVD killers, that kind of stuff, they're sort of saying, "Hey, here's my homework, copy it, but don't like make it exact," and then they just write it in a different language or something. It's like they got the same sort of generic concept, but they just somehow fuck it up. And then without the licenses as well to pull more people in and get people more hyped for it or whatever. Like, for example, the new Ghostface stuff that's coming on, the Stranger Things stuff that's supposed to be coming back, the Dredge, like all the original characters and all that kind of stuff as well. They've got such a variety of sort of powers and things like that, and learning curves to do with it. Then I think that's what makes it more desirable. Although people like loves to shit on the game, it is at this point unbeatable. It's kind of like monopolized the entire sort of asymmetrical horror game genre.
The thing
For
is,
now.
if you took all the licenses away from DVD, it would still be a strong game in the genre. The fact that
It'd still be the strongest.
like other games might have had better releases because people don't jump back to DVD because of DVD. They jump back because of the licenses and everything pulls them back to DVD. So the other games don't really have much of a chance to build up that steam of, oh, we're adding this, we're adding this, we're adding these perks, we're adding this sort of variance of play, these new maps are coming. Because by the time they get to that stage, everyone's already abandoned the game.
But the game isn't as polished either. As much as it's the same as Call of Duty. People love to shit on Call of Duty, but they still go and play it. They still do the same with FIFA. It's the same game, blah blah blah, same updates, blah 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 blah. But they still play it. Why? Because most of all, it is fun, and you can just quickly go in the game. For the most part, the servers are reliable. For the most part, there aren't many game-breaking bugs in the game. But then you go to games like VHS and Home Sweet Home, and what other games they were. Look how exploitable things were, and look how unfair it was, and it wasn't polished. Yeah, you need to give it time, but it's like the amount of time that it would have taken to balance the game out to the point where it could compete with Dead by Daylight. It is too late. Like there's nothing that you can do.
I do think eventually there will be a game that maybe knocks DVD off the top, maybe even for a little bit. I would like to see something rival it, just so there was like other things to kind of play.
And
The
The
only,
own-
the
Go
only
on.
thing, or the only game I can see doing that for longer than all the others have is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game.
I think that's honestly going to go the same way that Friday the 13th and
Well, it
Evil
can't go
Dead
the
went.
same. It can't go the same way Friday
No,
the
I
13th
guess
went.
no, the same for Friday the 13th, but like it did die down. Like before all the licensing problems, it did die down very quickly after release.
It was
And
still a
people went back to
very,
DVD.
it was still a very fan favored game.
It
Though.
did,
A lot
yeah.
of people preferred it to Dead by Daylight.
I think the biggest thing that they're doing wrong is announcing the games months in advance.
Oh yeah, if
That's the
they
biggest thing.
announce the game like
And then
just
a
on
month later,
release,
you
or
need
maybe
to
it's like
build
a
up some
week
hype.
before,
Yeah,
it
like-
would do so much better.
The
because
biggest thing they could
long
do
have we
is
known about it? How long have we known about Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well,
Months.
to give it credit, like it has been postponed, like I think twice now, actually.
What's the reason? Is it to just sort out bugs or something, or
Yeah, pretty much. It's just development.
so?
that entail like there lies like part of the problem. Like if the game isn't ready to be released and you're announcing it, like
It's too soon.
Exactly what I was going to say.
yeah, which it would be, they would be much better off going, right, this game is ready to be released. We're going to tell everyone about it and we're going to release it in a month so everyone goes fucking hyper about it. We're also going to then approach some of the biggest horror streamers that we can find and go, use a code, play the game. We'll give it to you for free when it comes out as well. Go and play the game on your stream for X amount of time.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Like
Where people can't go and play the game themselves. Their only choice would be to go to these streamers to watch the game being played. And then the hype builds, and the game's out before you know it.
I think considering Texas Chainsaw Massacre's been made by the same devs of Friday the 13th, I think it's going to do well. I think it's going to do better than what
I
the
want
others
it
have.
to do well.
it possibly will do well, but the issue is if they they announce it, and then they postpone it to sort out bugs, then they postpone it again to sort out bugs. If the game isn't that polished enough to be released within a month, it shouldn't have been announced for starters. And plus, if they've postponed it for these amount of months, this long, and then on release, the servers crash. On release, there's game-breaking bugs. You can
Yeah, there's so
go
many
through the
games
floor.
recently that are having that problem.
Exactly. You have so many people that encounter so many bugs. They're like, I've waited so many months for this. This has just been an overhyped piece of shit. I'm going back to Dead by Daylight. And that's what kills games. Because it's been announced for too long, or it's been postponed so many times that the hype has died down, and then a week or so leading up to the actual release, the hype builds up a little bit again. And then the people that were originally thinking about getting it eventually get it. And then the people that are still super hyped, they get it on release. And then everyone's just shit talking it because of how bad it is and how buggy it is. And it's just a buggy mess. And then that's what kills the games. Like what they need to do, they need to sort out majority of the bugs, make sure that it's a solid playable game. Send it out to test groups, send it out to whatever. That's what NDAs are for. Make sure that it's working, make sure that the service can handle it, and then announce it.
Thing is,
That's-
Dead by Daylight went the same back in 2016.
But there was nothing to rival it back then.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
the problem.
There was no rival.
There was
Maybe
nowhere
Friday
to
the
go when the
13th.
game was shit.
Yeah. It was what, Friday the 13th came out a year later. It came out in
Might even
2017.
have been more than that.
But like at that point, like DBD sort of established the whole thing of this is the game. We're also going to keep adding to it, and they kept adding to it and consistently.
Well, initially that wasn't their goal because their initial plans for it was just a party game and then
Mm.
not and then do minimal updates to it, but not to the point where they went with it. It just took off in like such a
That was the thing because it had no rival at the time. It had a
Yeah,
chance to sort of establish itself, and then when the rivals started coming, they sort of went, "Well, we're going to add this, and we're going to keep adding, and we're going to add more, and there's going to be more maps." And then all of
That's
a
what I'm
sudden,
saying,
it
though.
just
They
never
didn't
really stopped.
they didn't plan for Dead by Daylight to take off like it did.
No, I
They
know. It was
did-
just
they-
just the fact that it did. They were in a position then when Friday the 13th come in to start sort of rivaling it. Their plan to like rival Friday the 13th was to continue developing the game further to make it different.
Also, just so you know, which well, you'll know this, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a 1 killer game, though, isn't it?
No,
Is it not?
It's a 3v2
There's three different
3v4.
killers.
or 3v4.
No, I mean one character. So what's the actual killers?
It'll be the
So
other
it's
first.
the family.
Right.
So
okay.
you got I think it's the brother. It's Bubba. It's the brother, and I think it's the father.
Father, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, so it's those 3 killers, yeah.
yeah, 3v4. Yeah.
So then, what happens with DLC? How do they expand on it if it's the story of that?
Well, nobody knows.
They can't really, unless they
Well,
bring out some like fan fictions or something that doesn't make sense. If they're not afraid to go out and get other killers and sort of not stick to the storyline, then there's a chance that this game might work. Other than that, the biggest thing that they've got, the Dead by Daylight's got, like Friday the 13th, you only had Jason.
It's the replayability.
Like you had the same killer over and over and over again, and it gets boring. With Dead by Daylight, there's what, 15? Maybe more?
It's a
I don't
lot more
bloody
than
know.
15.
There were only. There's about
20,
27.
27?
27-ish? I don't know. I just plucked a number on my head.
28 with Wesker, I think.
All right, so 28, almost 30 killers compared to 3. And there's another killer going to be added soon. Right?
Yeah,
I think.
the night.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there,
the night.
I believe the leaks have been properly leaked. Demo is coming back with the night as well. They just haven't
Exactly.
announced it yet.
So there's almost 10 times more killers in Dead by Daylight. So they need something like I said, unless they're not afraid to deviate from the original story, or they want different characters, or even original characters, or even just like a multiverse kind of thing, where what if it was on a different universe or different sort of time, and they had like not a Billy kind of type of killer, or just like different styles of killers, like not necessarily with chainsaws, like so they come up with their original characters as well, and then different maps to signify the different type of universes or whatever. That's what they need to do to even slightly rival in the for a long term goal, slightly rival Dead by Daylight.
Mm.
Because there's no way that they'll be able to survive and overtake and conquer Dead by Daylight with just 3 killers.
I don't see a game kind of dedicated to a single license overtaking Dead by Daylight anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, with Dead by Daylight, you've got anything from Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Sadako, Bubba, Myers. It's like as much as like the community says like, oh, this game coming out is going to beat Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight's dead now. No, they've been wrong every time. They'll continue to be wrong every time. But just because no dev company, unless there's a like, for example, Activision or EA or something backing them with money to get licenses, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Like it's the same with World of Warcraft. Every time like a new game has come out that rivals World of Warcraft, everyone's saying that it'd kill it. And it hasn't. Like, and that's been going, what, 15, almost 20 years now?
The only
And
thing that's ever rivaled World of Warcraft is RuneScape, only
Yeah.
because it's on the same kind of aspect level.
yeah,
Mm.
and it's like World of Warcraft's still there. I'm fairly certain they're still one of the highest, if not the highest, game out there in that genre.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like,
It's either between World of Warcraft or RuneScape.
yeah, even like, what is it, New World or something like that.
Fuck New World.
All of those games died off fairly quick, didn't they?
Yeah, the
Like,
New World hype was oh god, it was so painful to watch.
yeah, and then there was I it may have been the same game, but there was a game where it had this it sort of sold out as in like selling out in a bad way instantly. You know where World of Warcraft you get these WoW tokens to boost your character to max level?
Yeah.
Like most of midway or 3/4 of the way through the expansion, they sell them. New World or one of the other games that were trying to rival it sold it on day one. And you didn't even have to get like World of Warcraft, you need to have at least one max character to get to the max level to use the token. In one of those games, you could get the max level token on day one without even leveling the character up to max level.
I mean,
That's how,
what's the most popular MOBA at the moment? Is it Dota, League of Legends?
I believe it's probably League of Legends, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably
It's especially like, I think I was watching Riot live streaming Worlds or whatever it is on at the moment, and I think there's like 500k watching as well. So League is such a massive like esports as well.
Yeah.
Like it's huge in esports. There's millions and millions into it. It's
What's
crazy.
the number? If I don't know if you'll know, what's the number comparison between League and like Dota and what was the other one? I can't remember. Can't remember what the other one was called. There was 3 I knew of, and it was Dota, League of Legends, and another one.
Was it Heroes of the Storm?
No. It was one word. I can't think what it was.
Smite?
Smite, that's the one.
Smite is like third person League of Legends, but with like, well, the last time I played it was with Greek gods and stuff.
Mm.
I'm not sure how accurate this particular website is, but according to this website, League of Legends currently has approximately 70 million users worldwide, while Dota has 43 million.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's mad. Could just search Google Trends just to see what it's like, just to give a sort of real League of Legends. Compare that to Dota.
That's the hardest part with like the likes of Dead by Daylight and stuff like that. Though, like from what I can gather from World of Warcraft, it's a pretty well put together game and consistently stays so. I
Yeah.
never really hear people complaining about like bugs and hackers and all the rest of it. Whereas DBD, because it's got such a lock on the genre that it's in, like they can sort of not take those things as serious as they would have to if they had a competitor. So
No,
like what we were,
I get what you mean. Like day one, there was hackers in the other games, but because of how much bigger Dead by Daylight is, it sort of invites the competition of hackers.
Mm.
So yeah, I totally get that one. Like because it's just an easy sort of like easy target really, and if you've got more eyes on you, if you can hack a game with more eyes on you, then it's like you as a hacker group, if you sort of put your name out there, oh, we did this, then yeah, it's going to be like, oh, this hacker group hacked this massive game. Nobody would care if it was Home Sweet Home Survive.
Mm.
Like the leading up to the release and announcement and stuff of Home Sweet Home, that's all I heard about. Every stream was talking about it. But then within 2 to 3 weeks, if not a month at the very most, nobody was talking about it. Everyone was back on Dead by Daylight. So
Yeah.
nobody would really care if that game was was hacked. But especially now, like the hackers we discussed, it's easy to hack on Epic Games. So because they can just get new accounts with free version of it. So
Yeah.
and it just because you can bypass Steam, not Vanguard. Sorry, what was it? Steam.
Easy anti-cheat. No?
Easy.
Yeah, there's easy anti-cheat, and Steam's got their own one. Valve, I don't know. One sec.
It's like one of those things, like
Valve anti-cheat, the VAC system. Yeah.
like Sony
Sorry.
and Microsoft both know that they can't slack off with their consoles, because if one of them gets too far ahead of the other, like it'd be pretty much game over for a while. Like Dead by Daylight hasn't got that thing that's going, we're gonna take all of your players if you don't sort your shit out.
Yeah.
So they can
But, like,
sort of get away with being lackadaisy with it.
Yeah. If anything started, if Texas Chainsaw Massacre hit the ground absolutely fucking bolting it, just running, and it was such a success, there was no bugs on release, everybody loved it, and then they started getting traction, they had so many more sales, which enabled them to either employ some more people, or so they can invest more time or money into the game so they can get more DLC out faster at a higher quality. And they kept on growing from strength to strength. Dead by Daylight was shit as pants, and it would like. Do you remember the reverse pallet bug, or when you could just drop a pallet and the killer would not be able to hit you or something like that? I can't remember. You know, the pallet bug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was fucking awful. How long did it take them to fix that? Like, how long did it take them to fix? Yeah, how long did it take them to fix the stuttering bug? Arguably, I think that affected survivors more than killers as well.
Yeah.
It was
and
more
the-
console more than anything. Like it was worse for them.
It was worse for console as well.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, because they've
Ends
still
used
got
to
that
tell me
lag in
that
it,
it was
haven't they?
literally unplayable. You literally could not play the game.
Yeah, all gen
Like,
The only
consoles
way
are
he could
awful.
watch it was through streamers.
Yeah, like RPD, when RPD first got removed and then released again. Our mate Zuto, on console, because he was such an unsort of, what's the bloody word? Oh my god, optimized. It was because he was so unoptimized. It was literally, as soon as he loaded into that map, he would lag so bad it was unplayable.
Yeah.
He couldn't go to that map whatsoever. How long did it take them to sort all of that out?
Was
It took
at least
them-
a month.
It took them ages, and it took them a mid patch and a bit or something to fix the stuttering bug.
The thing is, as well, though, I guarantee you, when the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game drops, there will be an event of some description on Dead by Daylight.
Yes,
Because it happens every time there's a game that they're worried about, they'll drop an event and be like, "Oh, we're gonna have double points," or "Oh, we've got this." Like,
Oh, Bubba's
Every time.
Bubba's cosmetics are going on a sale, so they're going to want to buy the cosmetics, and then they're going to be like, "Hey, I want to play as Bubba now." Just quickly going back to League of Legends and Dota, by the way, 97 million searches or something or whatever this last few days, and then Dota is 30 million. Just in comparison, so it's crazy, and then Smite is doing even worse at 3. So yeah, I can show you the graph real quick, but that's all you have to do, just to diminish sort of any form of, like, if you're worried about a game, all you need to do is just like slap an event on, like you said, and it just kills it. They're thinking, oh well, I want to play this, but this event's only on for like a few days or a weekend or something, so we can't really
one of
miss
the
it.
things that Dead by Daylight needs to change is their acknowledgement of these issues. Like, there's so often that we're just left in the dark
They are
until
getting
they've
slightly better.
no, but we're left in the dark until they're about to fix it,
they
or
haven't
until they
gone
fixed
there
it.
with
Like,
because I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna refer to the hacking thing. The only reason they made a comment on that is because all of the big streamers and fog whisperers started posting videos about it, saying that they need to sort the shit out,
Yeah,
and that's
Yeah,
the only reason they released a statement about it.
they were forced to, but like, that statement could have come ages ago, and you don't
Could
need
have,
to
yeah.
tell us. You don't need to tell us what you're doing. But if they can turn around and go, look, we're acknowledging the fact that there's a high amount of hackers in the game at the moment. We can confirm we're working behind the scenes to do our best to resolve this issue. That would have got rid of so many complaints.
Are
But
they
it was the
still
fact that like you could see 100 tweets from go to Dead by Daylight about hackers, and then they go, "Oh, we're giving you 50,000 blood points for logging in tomorrow," and you're like, just communicate with your audience.
But the sort of pity blood points and stuff, though, it doesn't make up for it because, like, you can get 50,000 blood points in one match.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Well,
you
if
should be
you've
able to do it
got
a lot
party,
easier.
yeah, if you got party streamers and stuff, and apart from that, like 50,000 blood points goes a lot further now. Yes, because of the nerf to the blood web things costing like 20-25% less.
The thing is, though, people are getting more annoyed with blood points now just because of how long it takes to spend them.
Yeah, that's my biggest fucking gripe, to be honest. But
Nobody's ever happy.
Yeah,
no,
it's also
like,
that.
no, I understand that you can't please everyone, but if they just took into consideration how long it takes to spend the blood points, like I think we've discussed this before.
Well, let's be honest, it's always taken the same amount of time. It's just you've got more now.
Exactly.
So if people weren't complaining about it before, but complaining about how much blood points they had, well, where's the argument here? People are just not happy. They
It's
get
not so much
more
that.
fucking blood points.
It's
And
it's
it, you know.
it's the quality of life changes. People have asked for ages to be able to spend blood points in the blood web faster rather than clicking on each node and having to click and hold on each of them as well. And it's
Yeah.
like they are slowly but surely addressing these things, but like I say, it goes back again to like the communication with the audience. Like they are getting a lot better at listening to what people are saying around them, but it's taken so long to get to this point that they've probably lost a fair amount of people from doing that.
I think
Nah,
the biggest gripe people have with them is not so much that they're not communicating, but it's the time that it takes them to fix issues. Like what we were saying with the whole thing with RPD and consoles, they literally
Yeah.
couldn't play that map for months. But
Yeah.
I believe at that same time they had an issue with something on their store where you actually
Yeah.
had to pay money
they
to get
fixed it
all the kills
instantly.
from it. They fixed that within minutes. And
It's
that
like-
was what people got pissed off about, is the fact that the game was unplayable, but they wanted to make sure you could still spend the money.
Yeah.
Can I
There was
also just
a
say
lot of
that
things with that.
our IP addresses still get leaked as well.
Mm.
They said they fixed it, but they haven't. IP
That's
addresses
like
are still getting leaked after a year. Is it over a year now?
But that's what like I'd have so much more respect from them to say like, right, we're looking at RPD. We can't right now we haven't figured out why this is happening to consoles, so we can't fix it until we figure out why. But we are looking into it. Like that open communication would have made things so much easier rather than going, yeah, we know consoles are having a bit of a shit time. We'll get to it. And then that was it. And you just didn't hear anything on it for ages until they went, oh, by the way, we finally now optimized RPD for consoles. And it was like, what, a month, 2 months later?
It's like, cool, I've now moved on to Call of Duty. I can't be asked with you.
Yeah. Whereas if they turn around and said, look, we understand there's an issue with RPD at the moment with console players. Unfortunately, we can't find the issue at the moment, but it is being investigated. We'll do our best to resolve the issue. And just give an update here and there. Like, we've identified the issue. We're currently working on a fix. It should be out within X amount of time.
Credit where it's due, though, the kill switcher is probably one of the best things they've ever done.
Yeah.
Because I think
Because that if that
Grim
happened now, RPD would
No,
just be turned off.
it's not Grim Pantry, it's Pale Wolves that's having issues at the moment. So that got kill switched, didn't it? I haven't been on the game,
Yes.
so I
I know there's a rock
the
that you
vault.
can climb on, and there's
No,
a
it's-
vault.
the vaults on the ship are broken.
The vaults on the
Yeah.
ship are broken. You can't vault the two on either
Oh
end of
yeah,
the
I've
ship.
seen that.
The
And
one
if
in the
you
middle,
vault
you
the one
can
in the middle, you land
clear
on the ship.
fucking- No,
Like,
the
how
one in the
does that
middle, you would
happen?
actually clear the ship. Like, you would,
Yeah.
you know how you would drop down where that barrier is, where the stairs are? You would just go straight over it.
If you get it right as well, that you can land on the barrier and walk up the sidewalk.
Like, how would that happen?
Because behavior.
This is what I mean. So, like, things
Well,
with polygons and stuff shouldn't.
With that specific vault, there's always been that little bit of collision once you vaulted that held you on to where the ship would be to drop you onto the ship. So
If
somewhere
nothing's
along the
changed
line.
on the map.
Yeah, but if like any bit of code, like you know how complicated coding is, like the amount of coding that goes into a map. They could have changed something so slightly on that map just to adjust something differently and completely change some of the coding. Like, I don't know a lot about coding, but I know full well that you could change a lines on one bit of coding and it completely fucks with a completely different bit of coding that's like nowhere near that bit of coding.
Yeah, but if it's got invisible walls and stuff like that, that's a different type of
But
entity.
we don't know how they do that collision or how they code it.
It's just daft how things just break with, like, how long has this patch been out? Or like, when was the last patch or hotfix?
It
And it's
was
been
on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I think it got kill switched a couple of days afterwards. Because at the
just-
minute we've still got the increased maps, I think, for like Glenvale and whatnot. Unless they've stopped that.
So what I did like though is I think as a very good quality of life from them is the fact that they've sort of consolidated the update files. So like you don't have to download, like it doesn't bother me. And I don't think it bothers you
Oh, I
guys as
missed the
much
Wi-Fi.
maybe. No, I don't mean it in that like sort of braggy kind of way. It's just like with our internet connections, because we stream and stuff, we've got decent internet, of course, but like with Ash, but it's just more, it's easier not to download like 25-30 gigabytes worth of files every time there's an update. It's kind of like Call of Duty, you know, when you have to download 100 gigabyte update, or you need to download some games just to get the update, and it's consolidated now. It's just easy. You can go from the PTB to the main game super fast, and it's only a couple of files that are changed. I think that's a big thing that they've done, which is really good as well. Like most of the updates that they've done, if not all of them, I've been happy with. Like it doesn't bother me with the new in commas or quotation, sorry, the killer update, because funnily enough, even when I was watching that match back of Storm, Aaron, when we was earlier, the gens did. Considering considering we didn't actually have toolboxes for generators, and we didn't have prove thyself or any gen enhancing sort of speed ups or whatever for to do the generators, they did seem to go fairly fucking quickly, didn't they?
Oh god, yeah.
Considering they've added an extra 10 seconds or so they take is it 90 seconds I think now per
Yeah.
gen?
Yeah.
Like considering they take 90 seconds, we did 3 gens within the first 2 minutes pretty much. Like they popped and popped and popped. Then we fucked around for most of the match, and then as soon as we were like, you know what, we need to end, or we need to do the gens, the 2 gens popped again, both at the same time, pretty much instantly. And it's strange, like how when the update first came out, unless they have changed it slightly or something's gone wrong, it does seem like the gens still go fast. Like even from a survivor's, like I'm a survivor main now, obviously, but I still think they go pretty fast.
It was like
I'm
the
not sure
game
about
we
you
played
guys.
against Kemsey. Like we didn't go out to gen rush,
No,
and those gens flew. And what
They
it was
did.
only me and you in a duo, wasn't it?
yeah, it was just me and you, and like we were just fucking around. I think I was watching him either chase you or chase one of the randoms, and I was just stood by hay bales watching him. Like I wasn't doing anything, and when we just like actually sat down just to do the gens, like they just popped. I did have prove thyself on that one though, but I don't recall being on a gen that long, if at all, with 2 people or more people for
It was
that
only
long.
at the start with Adam.
Yeah, it was at the start with Adam, and then it was the Adam that got chased, wasn't it? And I was
Mm-hmm.
watching the Adam get chased because you ran off because you got hit. You ran off,
No.
and then he found you and chased you. Or was it that?
No. You stuck
Who
the
ran-
gen when Adam ran off and got hit.
Oh, that one.
I
Yeah,
was doing the gen in main building, and then he chased and hooked you after.
yeah, that was at the start. I was thinking about later on. Like somebody was doing a gen, or we went to do a gen, and then I think you ran off by the digger. Was it the combine harvester through the corn?
Yeah.
And then he hit you. Yeah, that's the part that I was thinking of.
And then he took
Yeah,
you to his basement.
Yeah, he took you to the basement and then just hit you on hook.
8
Yeah,
stacks was lovely.
but it's strange. Like they seem to be like sometimes they just feel as if they go faster before the like now than what they were before the update.
I think something that they do need to do for DBD, and this is not so much because of the speed of it, just because of how like mind-numbing it is. They do need to make the gens somewhat more interactive. Even if it's just
Yeah.
something as simple as like when you get the gen to 50% until somebody dies, the gen blocks itself for a couple of seconds, and you need to go and get a key to unlock it. The killer can't interact with it in any way, but you need to go and do something to then continue working on the gen, or like
Isn't
just something. So you're not just sat on the gen going spacebar, spacebar, like
isn't
it's
that
not
something
fun
like one of the
to.
other games? Like
Uh, I don't think there's a lot of games that like require like it's normally cars and things. You have to go and find like the wheels and the car keys and.
yeah.
But it'd just be nice to
Maybe
have the gens more interactive in some way, shape, or form.
yeah. Maybe it could be something like put a new item in the game, like a spanner. Like to enable to progress past
Yeah,
um
50% until somebody dies, or at least until like 2 or 3 hooks have gone by, just so it doesn't feel like you just sat there pressing spacebar.
yeah. So like
Especially when the killer's tunneling someone and you can't interact with them in any way.
or face camping them, yeah.
Yeah,
Like just go to a chest, grab out a spanner, which enables you then to like it's all RNG.
but it
But
doesn't even
like
need to be RNG. It could just spawn
no, I
close
mean
to the gen, just so you've got to sort of do something.
like something like you said, unless a person dies, you can't get it past 50. So if somebody hasn't died and you can't get it past 50, then you need to go get a spanner or something.
I
Maybe.
like
Just something innovative.
the
Just something
one
different.
one of the biggest things I've always found with Plague and Killer is the start of the game can pretty much dictate whether you're gonna win or lose.
Yeah.
Majority
Yeah,
of
if
time.
you
it
hear
is.
a screech.
Yeah. Well, if you hear a screech, you just Alt F4 and go to the next. But
It's
I
more like
think
if you're chasing someone and 3 gens pop by the time you've downed that person, even if it's like a subpar chase, like neither of you played badly, you're both playing well. You know all 3 survivors are spawned different locations, pop 3 gens, and you're like, okay, I've only got 1 hook, and the game's nearly halfway done now.
Yeah.
like
This game's a loss unless I
the,
do something.
And
thing
it's
is,
games like that that
they
I think the corrupt should be base kit, but only for a small amount of time.
my
Like 30
issue with
seconds.
that is they can't really do anything more with the gens because unless it's the same thing I've said whenever it's been brought up. Like in terms of balancing the game, you need to balance blight, you need to balance
Yeah.
nurse.
Mm.
Otherwise, nothing else can be done. But they just refuse to.
Well, there's that and the perks that are currently out. If they were to add that system that we were just discussing, if you go against, I know, like I don't like Legion, but if it was a fan of Ruin, like your bottom line Legion that just runs full slowdown, how boring is that game going to be if you know you've got
Well,
to go and get a spanner at 50%?
I
But then
think
they can
I
put a
th-
cap on it. I
I
think the
think
biggest thing they can do is put a cap on it. So, like, for example, it can't, any slowdown, it won't go past like 30%.
But then Dying Light's useless.
I think what the most annoying thing is that they make everyone they make killers happy by increasing the gens by 10% and whatnot, or by 10 seconds. But then they go and release a new perk like hyper focus.
Yeah.
So then what's the point? You've increased it 10 seconds to then decrease it by freaking and then gens just take 36 seconds at best.
But then that's still one perk though.
But it's a perk that became meta the second it came out.
Yeah, because of stakeout and different shit like that. Like, what's the point?
I don't see that perk very often, if I'm honest.
I
I
How many,
do.
how many times have you run it personally?
I've
Oh.
never run it.
don't really care for gens.
I think I've run it maybe once or twice, maybe in the PTB, or if not, I ran it when I was doing the Adept.
But yeah, playing killer 9 times out of 10, there will be at least one person, maybe it's 2 running hyper focus in a match.
Yeah.
What-
Ryan's gone quiet, so have you run it quite a lot?
only if I've got like an actual gen challenge to do, because I don't really like sitting on gens all the time. So the faster I can do the challenge, the faster I can go back to playing the game normally. So yeah, I'll slap
Yeah.
it on if I've got a gen challenge. But I won't run it as like, oh, this is funny, let's do gens as fast as fucking possible. No, I'd rather get in a locker and either get pulled out or get my head on off.
And just to increase those odds, 9 times out of 10, the one that's running hyper focus will be the one that says GG's at the end that you didn't see the whole match.
Yeah. The one thing I thought was interesting, which they mentioned before, which they ended up scrapping, was having like a start of the trial part of the game. So like they've got the end game collapse, but there was like something to do before the trial technically started.
The thing is, though, like Aaron said, when you hear the screech at the start of a game,
Mm.
you do just know the game's over. Like
The,
adding something to do at the start of the game just makes it even worse.
well, the one thing I thought about, which I thought would be quite interesting, was so someone suggested before of having like a switch to activate the generators on the map, where you would have to go and activate the switch, a little bit like the exit gate lever, but maybe like just something that's just 5 to 10 seconds. Doesn't take a massive amount of time, but they're spread out across the map, so you have to go and activate the switch to be able to start working on generators, which increases the likelihood that you're going to come across the killer before anyone's started working on generators, which gives that sort of initial chance for the killer to, well, without no pun intended, but to gain that pressure. Like that sort of forces the interactions. But that switch could sort of activate throughout the game. So even if it was to say every minute you had to pull, like someone has to pull one of those switches in order to be able to access progress to the generators.
So what it could be then, it could be something simple as like an electric generator, like a petrol one, or like when you know the chainsaws when you have to pull the string to start it.
Mm.
It could be something like that. You need like to enable to the bigger generator. You have a smaller one which powers the bigger one, but you need to fix the bigger one. So every like 30% or every like after 50% it breaks, and then at 90% it breaks or something like that. But then again, what is it called? Not Call O'Brien, Merciless Storm would block it. But something along those lines where you'd need to follow. There's an electric cable or something going from the generator that you repair, maybe 20 yards away. You have to follow that line, find where the smaller generator is, like sort of start that little generator up to enable the next lot of progress. Just something like that.
But again, like Aaron said, they need to work on balancing like the big
Oh,
difference
yeah, they
between
do,
the killers
100%.
before they do anything like that.
Yeah, they do. Because remove Nurse Blight and ignoring the gen slowdown perks. Yeah, and things like Mother Door Ring and whatever. But I think ignoring the slowdown perks and Blight and Nurse at the moment, I think the game's in a decent place. The gens need to be slower, or something needs to be added to spice it up, but also slowing it down so the killers can have more of a fair chance, even if it's something simple like Corrupt Intervention as base kit for 30 seconds. And then if you actually run Corrupt, maybe it lasts for the full, like for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, or even 3. But
well, the interesting thing with Corrupt for me was that they made it so it would deactivate on the first down. Now, what I would probably do, because Corrupt was originally 2 minutes, was it?
I think it's like 100.
It was 2 minutes or 120 seconds.
Yeah, which is 2 minutes.
Yeah. I was thinking 120, no, between 120 and 150. I was thinking, I couldn't remember.
120. I used to run on trap.
You get 2 minutes, but that deactivates after the first down. So what if they made that specific part of it base kit, but then if you run Corrupt, you get the full a minute and a half, where even if you down someone, those gens would remain blocked. And that would be the perk, would be to override the getting the down bit. So some killers would still run it, because if they want to, like killers like Wesker use it to create early pressure to be able to get a down before anyone's really started working on a generator. So they would be likely to run it, whereas like someone like Trapper or Hag would then no longer need to run Corrupt, because they'd have it base kit. And they're not really going to down anyone in that first minute, because the whole idea is you should be setting up at first.
Or they could increase the generator count. You could use Corrupt
Intervention.
Intervention.
They couldn't increase the generator count.
It would just maybe 4 rather than 3.
Yeah.
Because there's some maps that are very large, or it takes a long time to get across.
They'd be better off addressing the size of the maps rather than. increasing the generators, because then
But then
you
if
look
they
at
address
like
the size, if they address the size of the map, then you got people like Blight, you got people like Nurse, and Wesker that can charge across the map pretty fast.
yeah, but
While
the slight
people like Nurse,
reduction,
Trapper, and those killers, they can't traverse the map that fast.
but the slight reduction in map size wouldn't really make their mobility that much stronger than what it already is. The worst parts about some of these killers, like Nurse is Nurse, just forget about fucking Nurse, because there's so much that needs to be fixed about her to be able to balance her. But like Blight, for example, Blight isn't that bad until you get the Blights that are running Alchemist Ring. Alchemist Ring is one of the biggest problems on Blight.
Not so much that Blight shouldn't be able to be like. I know it's not exactly how it works, but he shouldn't be able to turn more than 90 degrees.
Yeah, the
He
flicks
should
on
be
it are
the same.
ridiculous.
He should be the same as Oni. He should be locked at 90. I know they like
Yeah.
slide off of things to get over the 90, but that just should not be in the game.
Yeah, but like that's a sort of little thing. But like the fact that he could like it, the problem that Blight got a lot of one of the big problems with it is like he could rush across the map, get the hit, get his rushes back instantly, and then he gets the down instantly. And like the whole point of like adding the cooldown to Billy's chainsaw was so that he couldn't chainsaw across the map and then instantly start using his chainsaw again. Like, so it sort of defeated the purpose. Like, you've also given another killer this same mobility, and should they get a hit, which 9 times out of 10 they will, because it'll take 2 to 3 rushes to get across, and they can use their last 1 or 2 rushes to get the hit because of the stupid fucking flicks that they can do as
Assuming
well.
they're not using adrenaline vial.
Yeah,
They could, because he's kind of a mixture between Billy and Bubba, though, isn't he?
I'm not seeing the Bubba.
With the charges, it's just the charges aspect of it. Like, reduce his charges, because like he can traverse fast like Billy can with a charge, but he needs to bounce off things. But he's got what, 5 charges?
but his charges don't.
He has to bounce off of something to be able to do anything.
His charges don't matter. It's the fact that with Alchemist Ring, he can get them back instantly by landing a hit, and 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get hit by a Blight with charges.
Yeah, but if you reduce it to 3 charges rather than 5, like trying to traverse around, or if they're trying to bait it by bouncing off the wall 3-4 times before they, just to try and mind game you around
Doing
a
that
loop.
would just mean he gets his charges back quicker because it's
he gets 3 charges to get across the map. He'll get his charges back 10 times quicker. He uses his 3 charges to hit you. Alchemist Ring gives him his 3 charges back, and you're in the same scenario.
They do
slow the
just
recharge.
change Alchemist Ring. Alchemist Ring is a problem.
Like we said it before, but nurses needs
Nurse is nurse. There's so much.
Needs
they
the
can
range and the
change.
recharge. They need to wait. She can't recharge until you can start moving again, for starters. And if you do a blinked hit, well, a second blink hit, that should be like a Legion M2 or something. Like, it shouldn't count as an M1, especially like with things like Noed and stuff, or Devour.
But then, like, there's a few problematic add-ons like that, like Mother-Daughter Ring. Mother-Daughter Ring combined with Cherry Blossom is just stupid. It's the disgusting combination, and if you lose with that combination, you just need to learn Spirit better.
Spira.
Spira.
Learn Spira.
Like the fact that she can move at fucking Mark 5, detect where you are with the Killer Instinct with the Cherry Blossom, so not being able to scratch marks makes absolutely no fucking difference.
Yeah.
And she can fucking she can traverse in that fucking state for like 5 working days before she decides whether she's gonna fucking hit you or not.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. I'm sorry for the interruption, but who was we playing with? Was it with Chase the other day, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that spirit, just like Ryan said, 5 working days in his spirit form, phasing, and it was just insane. I've never
the
seen
TTV.
Yeah, the TTV. You remember?
Yeah. On
it was
Cornfield.
Cornfield. Yeah, it was insane. I've never seen a spirit phase that long before. I thought it was quite long when she was chasing me, but it was like twice as long as that. Then, with either Chase or yourself, right at the end game, it was crazy. I've never seen a spirit go that long.
Whenever Spirit was on me, I had to keep deafening you guys so I could hear her where
Yeah.
she was going. I got it right sometimes, but when I didn't deafen, I got it wrong.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, it just doesn't bother me. Like, you got to do what you got to do, but it was just difficult. It's just like, I don't mind going against spirits because you can hear where they are these days, like, and you can just hear them even better. But
The problem is that's what I mean though. Spirit was counterable because of that. But if she puts Mother Daughter Ring on, even if you guess her right and vault the right way or drop the pallet on the right side, she's that fucking fast and has that much phase left. She can just carry on going round and slap you anyway.
exactly, yeah. And the only
And
other
it's-
thing that could help you was Spine Chill, but now they fucked that up as well.
God, I miss Spine Chill.
I never understood why. Like the thing they needed to take out was the vault speed, and that was it.
Hey, blasphemy! You leave the
no.
vault speed alone.
I-
It was
I
never
like-
designed.
I
Spancho was
like-
never designed for that.
I like the vault speed, and I would like them to bring out a perk that's specifically for vault speed.
Yes, please. I want
That
my
I
vault
would
speed
like,
back.
but I do agree with the fact that it was never what the perk was intended for, nor was it something that really fit the like description of the perk. But yeah, like there's a few things they could do, and I think one of the worst things the behavior do is they have this. I want to say army, but it's not an army. They have an army of the Fog Whisperers, and like, so we talked about like the videos that were being made by the top streamers calling them out for the hackers and things like that. And Dowsy actually reacted to Spooky Loops' and Otz's video and basically said, I'm going to say all the things that they can't say because they're Fog Whisperers, and I'll tell you exactly how it is and what they're trying to convey with their message whilst being politically correct about it. And one of the things he said was that he's actually spoken to Otz privately, and Otz has put like dissertation level displays and documents and graphs and all sorts together and presented them to the devs on balance, and they've just completely ignored everything that he said.
Yeah.
And it's like, you've got these people who have that much passion for your game, stream it on a daily basis for you, and you're not using that essentially free resource, because he does it because he loves the game. Like, he's not going, oh yeah, if you do this, I'm going to charge you royalties. It is what it is, isn't it? Hopefully it's
Fog
that to get a bit
Whisperers
better.
are mainly for show anyway. They've kind of proved that.
Yeah.
I get that, but it was just like, if it was me and it was my business and I had these people in their so-called trusted positions, even if it was originally just sort of to be this like sort of fancy pants thing to aim for people to like, oh, I want to be a Fog Whisperer, so I'm going to stream Dead by Daylight. The fact that they have that essentially free resource to these people's communities to get feedback on the game and they don't utilize it is just a shame.
Yeah.
Even
It's
if they just
essentially
put it
free
out there,
publicity.
even if they just put it out there for the Fog Whisperers to like speak to their communities and come up with an idea from their community to add to the game and had like a competition out of it.
Honestly, what I would like to see is, instead of having these stupid little like feedback polls that they do, is having a poll that the community votes for what they want in the game. So the way that RuneScape does, or Old School, I don't know if RS3 does it, they'll suggest so many changes for the upcoming update. So for example, one of our recent ones has been the PvP zone changing how the bosses work to make them a little bit more appealing to both sides, PvE and PvP. If that poll doesn't get more than a 75% agree rate, they will not pass it and they won't do it. I'd like to
Yeah.
see something similar for Dead by Daylight, in that they say, okay, so gens maybe feel a little bit too fast. Should we increase it by 10 seconds? And if it gets more than 75% agree rate, then they pass it and they're like, okay, we'll look at it. I would like to see them sort of taking on board what the community is saying to them, rather than just being like, Oh, by the way, we changed the loops on one of the Macmillan maps, and it's shit now.
Right. So can I just quickly ask, with RuneScape, do they have a sort of biased community?
No.
No, not
Yeah,
really.
yes and no. For old school, they do like to try. So one of the things they did a long time ago was they tried to introduce a new skill, and
Okay.
it didn't pass by a long shot, just because the community wanted to keep it the way that they remembered it when they were young.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah, but in terms of like bias, everything that the devs want to do with the game, they always pass by the community first and be like, "Would you like this?" The only times they haven't done that is severe balancing problems. So something that they did a while ago was a very, very OP and easy to get weapon that had been that way for 7 years. They nerfed it, and they didn't say they just said you're not getting a say in it. It needs nerfing because it's the most overused thing. It's bypassing stuff that's way more expensive and harder to obtain. It needs to be changed. But
Yeah.
everything else that they've done, always by poll, and it always has to be over 75% to pass
Yeah.
because
Okay,
it's
so
what the community wants at that point.
Yeah, so that's good. So, but can you imagine doing something like that in Dead by Daylight, where it's predominantly survivor based, and the amount of survivors that would vote no against gens being
I get that, but they could still try and change things with the community say involved.
That's why
To
I
a
said to
degree.
use the Fog Whisperers and use their communities, because like a killer mains community is going to be made up of mostly killer mains, who will then give a killer's perspective on the thing that could put an idea forward for the devs to use.
Because we know from past streams and things, the devs don't know their own game.
yeah.
I think True Talent had a match against them at one point, and they were dog awful at just doing gens. True ran through them in seconds. I know we don't like agree with everything he says, but you'd think the devs would be more in tune with the game to kind of know what they were doing. And they've done streams in the past, and they do not play at high MMR levels, like not even close. So half the changes that they make, they don't even know what impact it has at higher MMR.
Mm.
So
As much as I agree, to be fair, that's what their internal players are supposed to do. We shouldn't be the beta testers, because that's essentially what we are. Like, I know it's a PTB, it's a public test beta, but they should have their own internal game testers, or they should have people in their company that actually test it and can play it to high MMR that test this shit before it goes live, or goes to us at least on the PTB, because then it'll give them a better understanding then. And then they can actually show them in physical form. In like, they can say, look, come into our office, we're going to show you how this game plays, so you can get a better understanding of how this thing goes, or X, Y, and Z happens in the game, so you can then tweak it.
I think they may be moving towards that, but that's something for next week's podcast.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we are going to have to wrap it up because I need to sleep.
Wrap, you said?
Yeah.
But yeah, no worries. I'm the same.
Yeah.
Like, but it's, like, we could talk about this for a while, but
yeah, that's the issue. If we start another conversation,
yeah,
but
we'll have another podcast gone midnight.
Yeah. And next week, I believe Ash is going to drop some bars for you all gamers, so enjoy that one.
So big middle finger.
It's either that or we're going to have a Lynx diss track.
Nah, me and Lynx have made up.
Oh, he's gone quiet now. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, he's making his mind up.
But as usual,
if we
guys,
ever meet up, we should just have a roasting session of each other for the podcast.
Why? My life with you guys is just getting roasted.
I don't roast you. What the fuck are you on about?
I don't roast you.
I don't roast
you. You literally introduced me as the Councillor State Cuddle guy.
True.
Makes you sound like a serial cuddler or something.
Ash, I'll let you off. Like, yeah, I'll be fair.
Yeah.
But,
come on,
yeah.
The amount of shit that he talked about you when he was playing Pokemon.
I complimented him actually when we were playing Pokemon.
Hey, for my lack of knowledge of Pokemon, I did pretty well.
Oh, what does this button do?
But,
you were like with Pokemon what Ash is like with computers, just caveman.
I'm really not that bad
anymore.
But yeah, again, all the good stuff, gamers. Like, subscribe, comment what you would like to change in DBD down below.
Us talking about it, probably.
Yeah, probably. It's a fair point, really, isn't
I
it?
was
But
actually going to make a point in seeing because for next stream, should we see if we can go the entire stream without mentioning DVD or the entire
challenge
podcast
accepted.
rather?
Challenge
Because we do
accepted.
talk about Dead by Daylight a lot.
Yeah.
The problem
And
is
it's our main game, though, isn't
you've
it?
got 3 mainly DVD streamers in a podcast.
I
No,
tell you
we,
what,
at
the
the end of
first
the day,
one to
we have a
mention Dead
gaming
by Daylight.
podcast.
Yeah, the first person to mention Dead by Daylight next stream has to drop some bars.
Yeah, that's the deal.
How about that?
All right, game on.
Yeah. Have a great day, great evening,
Yeah.
great night, wherever you are in the world listening to this. But yeah,
Bye
I'm out.
bye.
Wait.
Bye-bye.